right, you dogged it!
We have such sights to show you.
Never alone.
Let this be a lesson to you. Say no to drugs.
You are all my children now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vintage Horror Podcast, where we talk about all horror, not just the vintage kind. I'm your host, Kyle, and with me tonight I have Mark.
Welcome back. What's up?
And Rob.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Today we'll be talking about the movie It Follows from 2014/2015. But first, it's time to crack a cold one with the boys. So what's up, Mark? It's been about a week since we recorded. So what's up, man? What'd you do in the last week?
You know, not too much. A little bit of work. Played some Resident Evil 2, some Fortnite.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Watched a couple TV shows. Nothing too exciting. What about you, Rob?
Pretty much the same. Played some Fortnite.
You play Resident Evil 2?
No, dude. I a little scared of that game, man. I know we're on a horror podcast, but, you know, a little scared of Resident Evil 2. No, played a lot of Fortnite. Ace Combat 7. Kind of caught up on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That game was too big for my own liking, but, you know, just been hanging out. It's been a nice week. Looking forward to this President's Day weekend. Some time to myself.
You said you've never played a Resident Evil game before, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
I believe that I played the opening mission of Resident Evil 5. Is that the one in Africa?
Yeah. In like the little village.
Yeah, it had like
Yeah.
a
shanty town.
Yeah.
I think it had a little demo, maybe. That's what you played, the demo?
Nah, definitely.
Just the first.
I borrowed it from a friend and I played it, and I should have known better that looking at the game entry number 5, probably the wrong one to jump in on.
It's not that bad. I think it gets more hate than it should, but
It was a lot of fun. I guess I just wasn't feeling it, or maybe it wasn't what I expected it to be, and I kind of dropped off.
Yeah,
maybe I was a little lost in the story.
definitely understand that.
You know, that's Chris Redfield, right?
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
definitely. I guess you're right. It's not the right one to come in on, but I think, like I said, I just think it gets more hate than it should.
When I first played it on when it came out, I honestly hated it. But then once me and Kyle bought it on Xbox One and played it as like the co-op campaign, it wasn't bad. Like I liked it. Like I hated it when I played it by myself, but when we played it together, it was fun.
Well, it's a lot more like I get what they were trying to branch off from 4, and it's like got almost like the action of 4, but they try to make it a little bit more actiony and high paced, I guess, fast paced. But I don't know why it missed the mark with so many people. I don't think it was as bad as everyone thought it was. It's not Resident Evil 6 because that's straight trash. But
yeah, I've never even got beat Leon's story.
Wait, that's not the best one.
No,
dude, I've only forced myself to go through it just because it was a Resident Evil game, and
I couldn't even force myself to go through it.
Yeah.
But
I know you talked about maybe getting like the remake of Resident Evil 1 and then playing 2.
Right.
I would suggest doing it. It's a good game.
Yeah, I might give it a shot.
They always have deals on Xbox too. Like you can buy it for like $10.
I have the disc that I could just like let you use until whenever.
That's why
because
I didn't even know they made a disc.
I'm talking about for 2. Well, they do have the disc for 1.
Wait,
I thought.
how do you have the disc for 2, but you still can play it on your Xbox?
Okay, I see what you did there. Yeah, me and Mark game share, so he bought it, so I can play it because he bought it. But yeah, so I could always let you borrow that.
Okay.
Right on.
Kind of an unpopular ranking poll. I mean, I hate to spring this on you last second, but I'm interested to know what would you say your top 3 Resident Evil games are? Your top 3.
So definitely 2 is definitely the top, like the original 2.
So 2 is your number 1, Kyle?
Yeah, 110%.
What about you, Mark?
2.
2?
Yeah.
All right, so we got it.
2 is my favorite game of all time.
Really?
That's my yeah, that's probably my favorite game of all time. And then like either Final Fantasy 7 behind that, or no, maybe Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, at least honestly, if we want to talk about games as a whole, I'm easily looking at FF7 and Ocarina of Time in my top set. So
yeah,
if you're saying that Resident Evil 2 is along the lines of those kind of masterpieces,
well, we're saying like the original. The remake is it's good, but
I like the remake more the more I play it, honestly.
Yeah, but it's not the original.
Are there any drawbacks you can talk about without spoiling it?
Of what? The
over
remake?
the remake over the original?
Well, I feel like, okay, so
I know the tank controls were eliminated.
yes, so that's part of the thing in Resident Evil 2, like, or the first 3 Resident Evils, they had tank controls, but they also had fixed camera angles, and that kind of really aided in the survival horror element of it, because
for sure.
you didn't know what was around some corners, or some corners you saw what was there, but you're like, fuck, now I
Can't
have to go.
avoid it.
Yeah, you're like, I have to go face this head on. But then, like I said, sometimes it's not like a over the shoulder shot like it is now, so you were kind of surprised a lot more. I personally like the tank controls. I know a lot of people hated them, but I liked them. I think the story was a little bit better. There's some quotes in the original that's a little better, because Resident Evil was known for its terrible voice acting.
Well, that's right. What's that? Resident Evil 1, the Jill sandwich? Is that Resident Evil 1?
Resident Evil 1, the Jill sandwich.
Jill sandwich.
like sometimes, like, I think it was in like the first one, they're like, oh no, but like, and they also, people listening can't hear it, but they have this like hand gesture, and they constantly move their arm just up and down like this, so it's really cheesy. But I don't know, I liked it. It was honestly a little bit scarier. This one is, it's one of the first games in a while where I've actually like felt tense playing it, and there's a couple spots that pop out and get you.
The one that always gets me, I beat the game 25 times, and the one
still,
scene in the beginning always gets me, and I always forget about it.
Yeah.
And I always jump.
So that, I just feel like 2 is lacking a lot of the story. They threw some stuff in there for nostalgia purposes, but I don't think it translated as well as it did in the original.
No, it felt sloppy. Like,
yeah,
they put it there just to please people,
right?
But they could have made it better.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to float this idea out there. I know that, especially with PSVR, Resident Evil 7 saw massive success with their VR components.
Right.
Do you think that there is a possibility that they could bring a VR component into Resident Evil 2's remake and it'd be a viable component?
I don't think so, because they were thought about making Resident Evil 2 first person, and then they quickly shot that idea down. And I think it's not first person; it's over the shoulder.
Right.
And I don't know how they can do that in VR. Unless they switch it somehow to first person.
Well, on PC, they do have the mods that make it first person.
So yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But I think if this was on VR, it'd still be a big hit.
But I don't think it would be as good as it is.
This
isn't a VR game to me.
Have either of you tried Resident Evil 7 on VR?
No,
I don't have PlayStation. I only have Xbox.
Yeah, Xbox.
Yes, I don't know. That's something. As soon as everyone I've talked to that have used that have literally said it is the scariest gaming experience they've ever found themselves immersed in.
The thing is, I haven't even beat Resident Evil 7 yet, because every time I play it, I get motion sick because of the first person aspect. Yeah, I haven't always been like that. There has been some games that get me like bad, but that game I play for more than a half hour and I start feeling sick the rest of the day. I literally have to either take a nap or I am just nauseous all day long.
Did you ever play Dying Light, either of you?
No, I haven't.
Which one was that?
That's the zombie one where it's like
oh, is that on Xbox?
Good luck at night or something. It's like good night, good night, good luck or
was
something.
That Xbox? No.
Yeah,
but
that
I remember
game when
you
I
guys
bought it, and it, like literally when I played it, I had the worst motion sickness. I didn't think I could ever play the game again, and I just forced myself to play it.
And you get over it.
And I got over it, and I love that game.
Yeah, I remember you guys used to play it a lot, like you and who else, James or something like that.
Probably.
But I remember you guys playing it a lot. But I honestly feel like it was too open world, and you could run them like in the very beginning. I like more of like a one track game, but that I feel like you could go and do multiple things in the beginning of that game. And I'm like, well, I don't know when I'm progressing and when I'm not, so I don't really care to fucking play this.
No,
That's
it's a good
just
game.
me.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I bought the season pass. Never played any of the season pass stuff. Did the
Money well spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely, I think I'm going to take you guys up on your recommendation and give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't hurt. I know you were a little like you didn't know where to step in. I would say, I guess the Resident Evil 1 remake that they originally put out on GameCube, it's on Xbox now. It is good. It's probably up there in the top 3 for me. I would say it's better than the original one. What they added to it, I feel like made a better game, honestly. And the updated graphics are good. But you could step into Resident Evil 2 because you can know exactly what's going on because it's a whole separate story.
Okay, cool. And you guys would also say that, so Resident Evil 2 is easily your top. What would you guys say would be right following behind that? I hear a lot of people are either a like it or like a love it or a hate it on Resident Evil 4.
4 is really good.
Yeah, I liked 4 a lot, but
But the thing is, like, after when they 4 and after that, it's almost like it's like they have characters that they share, but it's almost not Resident Evil survival horror anymore. It's more action games. It's more action-y.
Yeah. No. And Resident Evil 3, I can't remember.
3's good. That's Nemesis.
Okay. So
It's
that's
good,
Nemesis.
but that's when it started getting a little bit more actiony. It's more fast paced. Right in the
sure.
beginning, I think you start out on the easiest difficulty with like a machine gun, right?
I haven't played that in so long, I can't even remember.
I think Jill starts out with a machine gun on the easiest difficulty. So you start and like I think that was the first time they had like an assault rifle. Before they had a machine gun, but this is a straight assault rifle, and you just start out like destroying zombies.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, it sounds like the series is almost like a straight pendulum swing. You started at this really this survival horror. You let it go, and slowly it transitioned to transition to transition until it hit about 6, and you're kind of away from that. 7 is the swing back.
Yeah, but the thing about 6 is I don't think anybody said it was good. And
Really?
I don't think so. And I'm pretty sure Capcom and whoever else makes Resident Evil took note of that and said, yeah, we got to change something.
Never again.
Yeah.
Never again.
Because
will be doing
that game, I played it originally on 360, and then I bought it on Xbox One when it was out, and I think it might have been on sale. And I played it for 4 seconds, and I said, oh, yeah, this is why I've never picked this game up
Yeah, I
again.
did the same thing. I
Yeah.
remember I was like on my computer watching stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go buy Resident Evil 6 on Xbox, and I did. And then I did like the opening like tutorial scene, and I said, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, it's really not good.
All right. Looks like I have to play some Resident Evil.
Yeah. So anyway, my week. Back to that.
All right,
to your
Kyle,
week. Yeah.
how was your week?
Yeah, you
Fuck
know,
Kyle.
I'd worked a little bit. I got out of work early. We slowed down a little bit, so I got out of work early a couple days. Edited the first podcast. I think I got that down, so that's good. And wasn't yesterday, right? 2 days ago, my Resident Evil 2 board game that I've been waiting like a year and a
forgot
half
about
for
that.
finally came.
You know, you snapped me that, and I started to think, I'm like, were we not like out like a year and a half ago? And you said, "Yo, I ordered that Resident Evil 2
Yeah,
board
it
game."
was a Kickstarter by a game called like
You-
Steam Forge, or a company called Steam Forge Games.
You fucked up, though.
Why?
You didn't get the alligator, right?
Yeah, no, and they don't make that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was if you didn't order it, like, well, see, he might not understand as much. So in Resident Evil 2, there's a giant alligator. Spoiler alert, but
Spoiler alert.
I mean, it's in the remake too. But it was like, if you play the original, you would understand why it's so fucking cool. And it's one of the points in the remake that's not that good. But they had an add-on for the board game, because you had the stock board game, and you could buy add-ons on the Kickstarter, like different scenarios. So I got the B scenario. I didn't get the alligator, but I got the retro pack. So like it comes with all the cards that make shit look like the Resident Evil 2 original video game. I don't know. I had it was like 6 or 7 6 boxes of this board game, and it says 90 to 120 minutes. But I'm pretty sure when I saw them play like in a video, they're like, yeah, this could easily take up to like 8 hours to complete a full playthrough of every single expansion. So I'm like, fuck yeah. I just need to find someone to play.
I'm ready to do it.
Well,
Whenever, let me know.
the thing, and they said like there's certain like points where you can be like, okay, we can put this away and like just start tomorrow, like continue playing. So I think I'm probably gonna wind up making Sam play with me, because.
What do you mean I'm ready to play?
But the thing is, we have to hang out like multiple times, and we have to. Okay, I'm down. I don't care.
If you just try to kick me off that too, you can.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that's really happened to me this week. I know the last time we've recorded, the Child's Play trailer was out, but we didn't discuss it, and we all saw it, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess we'll discuss that right now. So what did you guys think of it? I guess I'll ask Rob first. How did you feel about it? Form your own opinion.
So how did I feel about the Chuckinator? I don't know. This seems to be an ongoing trend where we want to remake something, update it, make it trendy, and by doing so, change some significant plot points. And I can't say for sure that the plot point has changed. I know last episode we talked about the Pet Sematary trailer and some massive plot points that were shifted there. But from this trailer, to me, it looks like that we might not even be dealing with a possessed doll. from the trailer, we're looking like we're dealing with Wi-Fi gone crazy. Like the Verizon signal just dropped and this thing went insane.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see any voodoo. So
Yeah, it's and I know that maybe in 2019 that voodoo doesn't transfer too well. It's kind of like an 80s thing. It works well in its pocket universe there.
I don't think it worked well then.
Oh, you better shut your
I
mouth
don't think
right
it
now.
worked well then.
No, they thought it was real back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess.
But I don't know. It just at first I was watching and I was like, oh, this looks pretty good. Like it's got some unique ambience because it starts like an advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
At first I was watching and I was like, yo, why can't I skip this YouTube ad?
Yeah, I thought that too.
I was getting a little mad at it. And I looked at it, I'm like, wait a minute. And I think the trailer lost me when, they're waking up Cyber Buddy and looks like he scans him like with a retina scanner, like he's trying to copy him or trying to get some targeting data or whatever. I know on the box or some of the advertising has the eye at the end there with a Wi-Fi signal. So maybe they're going with a corrupt AI doll. I don't know. It looks good at times, but like I said, the original Child's Play when I was little, that scared the living Christ out of me. I was a big baby. I instantly saw that movie and just wanted to throw out every stuffed animal or thing in my house. I did not want nothing near me. I thought my G.I. Joes were gonna just kill me. But I'm kind of looking forward to it. Like I said, I'll reserve my judgment. Wait for an actual full length trailer to come out to kind of get a better feel. Similar to Pet Sematary 1. That trailer, for trailer 1 that came out, trailer 1 we were like, ooh, a little mysterious, looks pretty good. Trailer 2 came out and I was like, yeah, no, that's it, I'm gone. It lost me.
For the record, I didn't think that about trailer 1.
No.
But
I was willing to give it a shot at trailer 1.
I mean, I hope it's good. Like I said last time, I hope it's good.
But I feel like we
Trailer
already know.
1,
We watched the movie in trailer 2.
Yeah, trailer 1, I didn't think anything special was happening. I was already mad at some of the stuff that was mixed up. But
all right, Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, when I first saw the trailer, I wasn't a fan of it because they didn't ask like Brad Dourif or Don Mancini to be a part of it, and I don't like how there's still a story going on with the TV show. The movie just came out on Netflix. I didn't watch that one. I watched the first one. I don't remember which one it is. It's either the Cult or the other one. I can't remember it.
I think it was the Cult of Chucky.
There's Cult of Chucky, and then there's Curse of Chucky. I think
Cult
I watched.
is the new one.
Okay, yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Where does Chuck E. Cheese fit into this?
Pizzagate, that's where. I still want to see the movie, but I think I'll wait till it comes out on Blu-ray. I don't want to rush to see it because I still feel like they're trying to make the Chucky story go on in the TV series that's supposed to be on Sci-Fi. That they said they will be able to use let Chucky use the word fuck and have him curse a lot on there, so that'd be cool.
Wait, are they still? They're still putting. They are going to put out a show.
Yeah, they're working on it right now. It's going to be on Sci-Fi.
Okay, so my feelings on it, at first, when they first announced that they were coming out with a new Child's Play, like a remake, or a reboot, if whatever they want to call it, I didn't understand either because they just came out with the new one, which I'm pretty sure is Cult of Chucky, I think. To me, it's still relevant, so I'm not really sure why they would come out with a new one. But at the same time, I get it. That's what this world is right now. It's all remakes. After the trailer came out, that's what we're talking about, the trailer. But the trailer, you don't get to see too much. I wish that the kid was a little younger because I think that kind of added to the story a lot in the first one because he was about the same size as Chucky. That's why, he's a kid, so kids make shit up all the time. They have big imagination. This kid's 10, 11, maybe even older than that. I don't know. Is he supposed to be the same Andy?
Same name, everything. The mom has the same name, Karen.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to talk about next. I'm glad Aubrey Plaza's in it because I love Aubrey Plaza with all my heart and soul.
No comment.
Don't disrespect.
Okay, I won't disrespect anybody, but I love her to death. And
what do you mean you love her to death?
I love her. She's my wife, I think, in another world. But So I don't know. I'm excited to see what she'll add to it. She's cool. She's kind of quirky. I don't know, but I've seen the picture of Chucky. To me, I know people didn't like his appearance. To me, it doesn't really matter. He looks fine. I don't know if they're gonna do, like you said, like a Wi-Fi kind of thing, AI gone wrong. To me, either way, it doesn't matter to me. Chucky to me wasn't one of those things that I was really, really into. So I don't really care what they do with it, to be honest with you. I'll watch it either way, and then I'll decide if I like it or not.
Yeah, to be honest, Child's Play 3 is the best one. Don't at me.
Well, Mark coming in hot with that fucking opinion.
I'm same boat. I'm gonna reserve my judgment. You know, even though I'm feeling a little uneasy about the trailer, I'll see it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. All right, so next we'll move straight on into the main event. It Follows. I'll toss it over to Mark.
Wait, what are we following up with?
It Follows. The movie It Follows.
You know, the movie you were supposed to watch, but probably didn't. So, anyway, toss it over to Mark. He'll give us some info about the movie.
Yeah, the movie came out at the Cannes Festival in France in May. It was on May 17th, 2014. Shout out to my sister Brianna. Happy birthday. Because that's her birthday, May 17th.
Yeah, I got that.
And then it had a worldwide release March 13th, 2015. It had a budget of 1.3 million and made 23.3 million. It also I don't know if this is the reason they shot in Michigan, but they had like a big tax advantage there
Right.
from filming there, so they saved a lot of money.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the whole reason they did that or just the way that Michigan area looks.
That's what they said. Well, that's what I read too. That it was Michigan has a lot of tax breaks on stuff there, so it would be cheaper if they filmed there, and that's why they decided to go with that location.
Yeah, you in the cast you don't have that many notable people in it other than Micah Monroe. Well, she was like in the new Independence Day movie. So she's in the movie The Guest also that came out before this. I never checked it out, but I always wanted to. And then you have a couple people like the kid that plays Paul is on that show Atypical on Netflix. I've literally no idea what it was, but I've heard big things about it. But also about Micah Monroe, she dates Steve from Stranger Things.
Seriously?
Yeah, serial.
Like in real life?
In real life. And her real name is Dylan, too.
Is his real name?
No,
Dylan?
her real
Yeah.
name is Dylan. But then she picked the name Micah.
Wait, what?
That's her stage name.
Oh, that's her stage name?
Yeah, like I believe in elementary school she asked her mom, like, what other name were you going to name me? And then she went from that name from out, like, after that.
Right on.
But there isn't really that many other notable people. The kid that plays Hugh/Jeff, I know he's going to be in the upcoming It movie as one of the bullies.
Okay.
But other than that, a lot of no-name people, low-budget film, indie film.
All right. Then let's get into it. So the first shot, I believe, is of a house, correct? No, it's the street. It starts out of a street. That shot is nice. In the middle of the street. Like, it's so simple.
Yes.
But then, I don't know. There's something about it that's so real. It doesn't look staged. And then it pans over to...
Well, they filmed on a real street. It wasn't like a stage.
No, I got that. But I'm saying...
No, I understand what you're saying.
It doesn't look like in Halloween how they dumped leaves everywhere to, make it look like fall. This looked like it was actually like that time of year, like fall kind of weather. But it starts at the shot of the street, like a road, and it pans over to a house. And then some girl runs out of the house in red heels.
Yeah, her name's Annie, and they named her Annie from Annie Brackett from Halloween.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. And she runs out of the house, and her neighbor and stuff. It's like, you okay? Do you need help?
Doesn't really answer.
Yeah, well, yeah. So the girl doesn't answer, and then her dad comes out. I'm assuming it's her dad, and it's asking if she's okay. And I don't think she answers him either. She runs back into the house.
Yeah, so when I first saw this, I'm thinking to myself, if the thing's following you, I don't even know what you call it, the monster? Can we call it the monster threat?
I don't even know what to call it.
I think traditionally it's known as it. I mean,
So,
not to confuse anything, but
I'm thinking to myself,
refer to it as it.
That's what the only thing I can, because they don't
It
know
or the
what
thing.
because you don't know what it is. Yeah, that's what I would call it, like
it, the monster.
it or the thing, because I don't know if it's a monster.
So we don't see it, but I'm thinking to myself, if you're running away from something, why do you have heels on? You're not going to be fast in heels. But then on the other hand, when I watched it again, I had it as maybe she was getting ready to go out and it came out of nowhere and she forgot about it.
Yeah,
or
she was in the middle of something.
She was in the middle of something and said, "Oh shit, I gotta go."
Yeah. And then she runs back in the house. She grabs the keys to the car, gets in the car, and drives away.
And this is another thing when the dad's asking her like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" and she goes, she's able to get the keys, get in the car, when him just being like so chill and not like, "What the fuck's going on with my daughter? Why is she acting like this?" Like, doesn't chase after the car, nothing like that.
Right.
Yeah, one of the things I want to point out though about this opening scene that I really loved and I'm a big fan of is it's a continuous shot. It's something that is not employed in filmmaking as much as I would like it to, especially in the horror genres from what I've seen in recent years. A lot of it's cut editing. I could be wrong. Maybe my exposure is limited.
Yeah, in the new Halloween, they had a really long continuous
Well, that's
shot.
I was going to refer back to that
Okay.
because a lot of films that I've been watching, and not just in the horror tropes, a lot of cut editing, switching back and forth. And then in this film, and in particular Halloween, that shot in Halloween is beautiful. That continuous tracking shot, the great use of the camera. And I often say, especially when it comes to cinematography, it is so easy to forget that the camera is an actor too.
Right.
And in this scene, it is a perfect combination of ambiance created by the music and in general this shot. Like you said, that beautiful street, you open it up and it's got that vibe. There's just something about that shot that sets the tone. And then the tracking of the camera, it just all flows so beautifully right up until the car driving off.
Yeah, it's definitely a lost art nowadays. Like long continuous shots.
Yeah, this movie definitely has a lot of those scenes though where it's like a long continuous shot,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the culture for everything is just quick cuts.
Well, it's a lot easier, I'm assuming, to do that.
With
and
edits,
shaky
yes.
cam, quick cam movements, distorting the imagery,
Right.
getting that. And I think that factors in. We're so used to seeing a camera distorted, so used to seeing a camera like choppy motion. To see these very clear, calm, fluid, easy motion shots is it's really a refreshing thing to see. And I think that we're going to be referring back several times throughout our critique here to the cinematography in this film.
Right. And just a heads up, none of us went to school for film, so please don't yell at us.
I didn't even go to college.
Yeah. So it cuts to the girl, Annie is her name, sitting
Yes.
on the beach, and she's sitting in
Was it the beach or the lake?
It doesn't matter either way. She's sitting in sand, so that would be a beach, whether it's a beach
Could've
on a
been a
lakefront
sandbox.
or. But she's sitting on the beach in her headlights.
Another
of-
great shot.
of
Another
her
great
car.
shot.
Yeah, and she's on the phone with her dad, I guess,
Yeah.
because she says, "Dad, I love you." At
Yeah,
one
I'm
point.
sorry for everything.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, you and Mom, I love you.
But I don't understand. I guess at this point she gives up and says, "I'm sick of this thing chasing me. Like, come get me, get it over with." She's an attractive looking girl. I'm sure she knows that she can get with another guy and pass it along to him unless she feels guilty doing it that way. But at this point, we don't know how it chases you.
And we don't even know what's chasing her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And we don't know what it's going to do once it gets. We don't know what's going on. It's
That's
just
what I'm saying. But in her aspect, she must know what's going on. Unless she doesn't, like, and she just wants to give up on it.
right,
yeah. Another
which
thing.
we'll kind of learn later.
Yeah,
That-
but I'm
Yeah.
saying right now, I'm assuming from her, she would know what's happening.
right.
I would
Yeah.
hope so. At least someone told her. Whoever did this to her told her.
Yes.
Another thing I like about the shot, and once again, the use of lighting and angles in this shot, it's great symbolism, in my opinion, for the way the light's shining on her and the darkness is enveloping around her. And then when you shoot back to the car, the brake lights are illuminated, very bright. So while you have this pure white light enveloping her, facing out where she's looking into the dark is this deep red crimson glow into the darkness. And I think just once again, that's a great use of lighting and of angles and overall creating this ambiance, this atmosphere.
And from that point, it quickly switches to daytime, and you see her dead body on the beach. So this is the first kill
Yes.
or death, whatever you
yeah,
want to call
first
it.
death, yeah.
She's like laying on the beach, and her leg is up in the air, but snapped back.
Straight scorpion.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even like a scorpion. Her leg, only like one leg is up. And
It's
then
like it's snapped at the shin or like at the knee.
It's snapped at the knee and like broken open.
yeah, wide open.
I love it. I honestly do. I kind of wish there was more of it in this movie, but
Yeah, it's very clear that her death was
yeah,
was
brutal.
It was brutal.
It wasn't. It doesn't look quick. It looks like it was painful, and whatever did this to her definitely meant harm. It wasn't.
It wasn't
take it easy.
It wasn't tucking her in for bed at night.
Yeah, it wasn't
No.
taking it easy. And it goes back to a normal looking street, and somebody's knocking on a door, which we find out is Paul later.
Yeah, Paul, but he doesn't say anything yet because it goes to the backyard
Right.
now.
So it pans over to the backyard, and you see the main character,
Jay,
Shay. Yeah.
whose real name is Jamie, who's also after Jamie Lee Curtis.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
They big Halloween fans, huh?
I guess yeah.
Well, I guess if you look at some of the shots, that kind of is like yeah.
They have
I was gonna say that opening shot on the street did remind me of Haddonfield.
well, they have
It did have that Halloween-esque vibe.
yeah, a bunch of like 70s, 80s horror stuff
Yeah,
involved in it.
especially the music.
Oh yeah,
What you'll see from this movie? I forgot where I was gonna go. With
very vintage.
Yeah, I have my own.
that. I guess that's it did feel kind of vintage, yes, but I forgot where I was going with it.
I have my own
honest with
thoughts
you.
on the matter. Like I said, we'll wrap back to this at the end, but there's definitely some themes here of old-fashioned clashing with modern ideals.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, that's yeah. We'll
we'll
about
definitely-
We'll circle back to that, but
that's what I was gonna say. It looks, everything here looks real. All the sets look like a real house, a real street. The house, as you watch the movie, it looks like somebody actually lives in the house.
Mm-hmm.
The pool looks like it's actually used, like it's not cleaned or just put up for these shots.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looks real, and these I don't know how else to put it. They look like real average American people,
Yes.
children, teenagers, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I think that's oddly appealing because it's not so clean. Like you see everything else set up for just one shot, taken back down. Like this looks like they might have just literally used somebody's house that they knew or something like that.
It's quite possible.
I don't know. But somebody's knocking on the door and it pans over and you see Jay, who's getting into the pool, and then her sister comes out. Her name's Kelly. She comes out and she invites Jay to watch a movie with her and her friends. who you
Yeah,
find
Paul
out-
and Yari or
Yara.
Yara.
Yeah, so you find out it's Paul and Yara, and she says no, that she's going on a date or she's hanging out with the new boy.
Yeah, the new boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah, she's going to something like that. But she's like laying in the pool, and this might be the first instance of the score of the movie, or at least when I really recognized it. She's like looking up, and I'm just laughing because the boys,
The
that are
little
like
peeping
the
Tom
little
horny boys next door.
there's a couple boys in the yard next to her that she clearly sees, like they're peeking over the fence, looking at her in her bathing suit in the pool, and they like duck down, and then they peek their heads back up to look at her again. I don't know. It's really funny to me.
But when they get inside, Yara, right? I can't.
Yes, Yara. That's her
Yara,
name,
Paul, and Kelly are on the couch and watching a TV that looks like it's from 1980.
Yeah, I did.
And then they're watching a movie from 1954 called Killers from Space. And this is like my one red flag. Not like throughout the movie I get a bunch of these, but like to figure out the timeline of the movie.
Yes,
But we'll get into that later about like that because there's so many more different things in this movie. Like that makes it better.
yeah. The TVs that they're watching, because I think there's two TVs, right? Like one stacked on top of another.
Yeah, I'm assuming the bottom one doesn't work.
Right, and people used to do that back in the day. But they're old projection, is that what they were called? Projection TVs?
Tube
with the
TVs?
tube TVs?
Yeah.
Yeah, and terrible looking picture, but that's kind of the first point where you don't really know what, like Mark and Rob have said, you don't really know where in time this takes place.
No, and like I said, I'll loop back to it, but I have my thoughts as to the intention of this. Even in Jay's bedroom, she's got a little, like an old small TV with like rabbit ears on it in the corner
Right.
of her bedroom.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll come back to this idea because I really do feel that there were some serious intentions behind them.
And then the next scene when they're showing Jay get ready for her date, if you look at the Polaroids on her mirror, they look like they were just taking her in the pool like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I did notice
I'm
that.
like, what the hell is going on with this?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just lazy or just did on purpose.
Yeah, the prop guy ran downstairs, took some pictures, right back up, and put them on the mirror.
I think it was like minor stuff because there's one of her like in the pool, and then there's one of like the family. I think. Mm-hmm. I think her sister, mom, and dad. But it's when she's younger. The kids look at least younger.
Yeah.
And kind of similar to them. And then it cuts next to Jay and her date. We find out his name is Hugh. They're at some theater, and
I think it's the Redford Theater. It's like a very vintage theater that still operates.
yeah,
there in
and
Detroit.
it's a very popular old theater in Detroit, correct? That still operates.
Is it?
Yeah,
It still operates the same way with the organ player and everything?
I don't know.
I don't know of that much, but I know you can still go there and see movies.
Yeah,
Because that was a series, once again, tech old throwback, that old culture.
and that theater that they're standing outside of, and then that they're in, is actually where the movie Evil Dead first premiered.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of history right there. Kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Jay wants to play a game with Hugh, and the game is
Trading Places, I believe, or
did she give it a name?
yeah, it's something along those lines. Trading Places.
Where you the concept is you look around and you decide one person that you'd want to switch places with, and then the person you're with has two guesses to guess who it is and why.
She's been watching too much HGTV with all these switching places stuff.
So
Trading Spouses with Dave Chappelle.
so they are inside the theater, and she can't guess who he wanted to switch places with, and he says it's a little boy, and because he has his whole life ahead of him, and
he can go to the bathroom at any time.
yeah, and she
It
says
doesn't matter.
he probably shit himself right now, or something like that.
But honestly, I think he picks him because of what we find out later in the movie.
Right.
He wants like a redo or restart.
Yeah, she says the kid's probably taking a shit right now. So then it's her turn, correct? Yeah. So it's Jay's turn to pick.
Yeah, they're actually in the theater now.
Yeah,
sitting
so
down.
now they're sitting down in the theater, I guess, assumably waiting for the movie to start.
Yeah, charade.
And is that what movie was playing?
Yeah, from
Charade.
1963 with Cary Grant and our Aubrey Hump. What, I can't remember her name now off the top of my head.
Aubrey Hepburn.
Yeah, Aubrey Hepburn. Oh my god, I almost said Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, plasma on the brain. So Jay picks the person that she wants to switch with, and Hugh's taking a look around to see who she picks, and he says that girl over there in the yellow dress. So Jay looks around, and there's no girl in the yellow dress, and he goes, "No, the one right there." She goes, "I don't see a girl in the yellow dress over there. Are you messing with me?" And then you see like a panic suddenly come over his face, and he asks, "Can we just get out of here? Can we just leave? I don't feel good." Something like that. They get up and leave.
Yeah, and they go to they rush out, and that's when you can see what movie's playing, which is Charade. And they run to the car, but he keeps looking back and looking all suspicious. And then they get to the diner.
Considering what we know is to come, I thought it was interesting that as they're walking out, it lingers on the shot, and you can clearly see the title Charade in the background, because we know this whole thing, as we're about to find out, is a big charade.
Well, Charade's like a mystery movie, so.
But he's saying like,
No, but I'm saying that's why they probably put that movie playing there, because it's a mystery movie.
It's a huge foreshadow, but like you don't realize it's a foreshadow until you look back and you're like, oh, okay,
Right.
I see what you're doing there. So yeah, what's next?
it shows Jay and Kelly walking through their neighborhood, and they see their neighbor Greg.
Greg,
And
yeah.
he's outside washing
Oh,
his car.
Greg.
So that's the first introduction to a character that'll get
So this
brought in
is
later.
one scene that speaks another flag comes up, because so Jay's wearing like a coat and like a sweater and like jeans, like it's cold outside.
Right.
But then in the background, you see the kids across the street in a t-shirt and shorts playing outside, running around, and even our sister's wearing like shorts, not wearing that much clothes. So I'm kind of get the feeling, what you find out more later on too, is like the movie doesn't want you to know what's going, like what season it is, because like she was swimming just the day before,
Right.
and now she's in a winter coat.
Right.
Like, so I feel like this movie doesn't want you to know
So they
what
almost
time
wanna
period, what season, what's going on.
almost like keep you disoriented.
Yeah,
I never really thought about that.
Neither did I was really trying to.
Because
figure it
honestly,
out.
I didn't take much note into like the clothes she was wearing.
Well, honestly, I've watched this movie so many times where I'm starting to add more stuff up from I watched.
right. The more you see, the
yeah,
more
more,
you
yeah.
see. The more you watch, the more you see. Right on. And then they show Jay and Hugh on another date, and things start getting a little hot, and they have sex.
They make sex.
Yeah, they make sex. they make it real good in the back of Hugh's car. And when they're finished up, see, that's another thing. When they finish up, she's just in her like underwear and bra, and she's just hanging outside. And like you just said in the scene before, she had a winter jacket on. So I guess you're right on that.
Yeah, and I think the way that they shot it too, once again, it feels like that scene of her hanging out, like,
Yeah.
you know, and then just it's quiet and there's that awkward silence, and then she starts talking about, you know, when I was a little girl, I thought about boyfriend like this, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, this just feels very real, and whatever is about to happen next, I'm about to feel very uncomfortable, and I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and so you see the shot. She's hanging out the side of Hugh's rear driver's side door, and she's just talking to Hugh while he's looking in the trunk for something. And then he comes from behind because her head's hanging out the door. So he comes from behind and opens the rear passenger door and comes through and gets on top of her as she's talking, and he puts a rag over her face.
Chloroform, more like boroform.
Well, it's chlorophyll.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Chlorophyll, more like
I want
borophyll.
to I got to give a shout out to both actors in this scene. Micah, who plays Jay, the way she was struggling and like the whimpers and everything, like it was very uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, it was
'cause
definitely
felt very realistic.
It was definitely an uncomfortable scene. I remember the first time I saw it, and honestly, like it made my anxiety like go off. Or like I was not comfortable. I honestly, yeah, I guess that's the word to use. Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like panic stricken. Like I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? It wasn't an enjoyable scene.
No, it wasn't.
It's definitely one of those in the movie where you're like, fuck, I don't want to see where this is heading.
Yeah,
you know?
no, absolutely.
Because at this point in the movie, you still don't really know what's going on. You know that the first girl, you know, had some kind of panic, and then Hugh at the theater started like panicking, and every time throughout this movie somebody starts panicking like that, like I feel my anxiety going up.
So the movie's doing its job then.
Yes, exactly. But back to what's going on in the car.
But then then Hugh finally knocks her out, and then they cut to the next scene with her tied up into a wheelchair. And this is one thing I don't know if you've noticed, Kyle or Rob. I never noticed this before, but she has an X tattooed on her finger.
Yes, I did know that.
I never noticed that before. So I obviously did research, and she tweeted about being straight edge.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if she's still straight edge, but I hope she is. So.
Yeah, I don't know if. Well, we haven't discussed it yet, but Mark, Rob, and I are all straight edge, so we don't drink or do
Shout
drugs
out to straight edge kids
or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. That's a. Is she? So she's. You said you don't know if she's still.
I don't know if she still is because she made tweets about it in like 2011 or 2013.
Yeah.
So
honestly, I did see that and I noticed the X. I don't think I noticed it the first couple times I watched it.
No, I didn't notice it until I watched it the other day, honestly. And I've
Like
seen
they
the movie
do
a
show a
billion times.
close up of her hand, and it's throughout the movie. So
Yeah, after that you see it and I notice it more and more and more.
yeah. So I guess that's a real tattoo. That's pretty cool.
It is a real tattoo. I made sure.
So yeah, she's tied up to a wheelchair, and it looks like it's like either an old parking garage or like an overpass, but they're underneath it.
Yeah.
You know, but it looks like there's a lot of.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with an old parking garage.
Yeah,
on this
That
one.
makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a good one too because once again, establishing with the anxiety-inducing nature of their scenes. This is obviously a camera rig that was built onto this wheelchair,
Right.
and it stays on Jay. So we're kind of coming to with her, and you can see Hugh pacing around in the background, moving around, and it's just there's a sense of dread. Like, how did we get here? What's going to happen? And then we get our first exposition dump, I guess you would say.
Right.
So Kyle, you want to take us there?
Yeah. So Hugh pretty much goes over how I guess we're gonna call it, works. He says it only deals with one person at a time. It just follows them, and it doesn't stop. It's a slow pace, but it's a steady pace, and it could look like someone you know or a stranger. Its job is to pretty much get close to you, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Its job is to kill you. He doesn't explain what it is, but so he pushes her over to like the edge of the parking garage down, and you can see down the hill there's a naked woman starts approaching, and Hughes says pretty much is like that's it right there. I had it, now it's passed on to you, and my only advice is to really just have sex with someone as soon as you can. It's easier for you, you're a girl, so you shouldn't have a problem with it. But the sooner you get rid of it, the sooner you don't have to worry about it.
And this scene, what I don't really understand is she literally only screams for help like one time. I don't know if it's the fear or she's disoriented, doesn't know what's going on.
Right.
But she's tied up, and then when she sees the thing coming towards her, she doesn't scream anymore either. And I believe the thing coming towards her takes the shape of is her mom. Like, you don't really see her mom throughout the movie. Their mom throughout the movie. It's usually blurry, but I believe that's who it is.
Just a naked version of her
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah. But so I'm wondering, does Hugh see the same thing she sees, or do they see two different things?
Good point.
I think that they see the same stuff,
So I guess, yeah.
but they never really give you a chance to clarify that.
I like one of the things that they did here is I was laughing because Hugh lets her sit there for quite some time and let that thing get pretty close before he starts wheeling her back and pulling her away. And when he does start wheeling her away, there's something he says that I guess the out of everything that he said about the way this thing works got me feeling the most anxious. He says, I think the quote is, "Never go into a place with more than one exit. It's very slow, but not dumb."
Right.
And so it's one thing to deal with something that's stupid and walks towards you and it can be tricked. But now I'm thinking, this is an entity that's not dumb. And he's saying, don't go into a place with more than one exit because this thing will start to strategize on how to get you. And that started to get me a little freaked out by thinking of it as a predator. This thing is going to hunt you down slowly but efficiently. And that quote stuck out to me.
He also says that if it kills Jay, it'll come after him. So he's kind of
And he still can see it.
yeah, and he can still see it. So he's kind of encouraging her to get rid of it. Get rid of it as fast as you can, because the farther
Please increase that kill list. Thank you.
the farther it is, like if she gets rid of it, then that's one step farther away from him. So it's less he has to worry about.
Yeah.
And then one thing we didn't talk about. Well, she then he drives her home and dropping off. But before that, you see Yari, Paul, and
Yara.
I keep calling her Yari. Yara, Paul, and Kelly on the porch of their playing a game. But we never talked about at the beginning. You see, when you first meet Yari, she has that clam e-reader thing.
Well,
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
That's
That
the Kindle
can't-
Clam. I don't know.
I don't think that's
what you're
real.
talking
I don't think that's real though.
It
No, I
probably
don't think
isn't.
it's a
I
real
think it was
thing.
just a made up thing. Like they used it.
But once again,
Right.
we're going to go back to new tech meets old tech.
Right. They have these old STVs, and nobody, spoiler alert, nobody in this movie has a cell phone.
Well, remember when the girl in the beginning called her dad?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so her, but the old
I'm saying-
STV,
but-
nobody else has a
But
cell
listen,
phone.
listen to the ringtone
But
and
that's,
look at the cell phone. It's an older cell phone.
But I don't.
that's another thing where it doesn't want you to know what time period you're in,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So then Jay gets dropped off. They obviously run to her, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Okay." But again, there's another part where they're like asking Hugh what's going on. He just doesn't answer. Obviously, I wouldn't answer either.
Well-
I'm getting away.
When they're talking to Hugh, they're still on the porch, and he pulls up and just like gets out of the
Yeah, but
driver's side
you're-
and opens up the back seat, and they're just yelling to him like, "All right, like is everything all right? What's going on?" He ain't gonna fucking talk. He's not gonna be like, "Yeah, we just had sex," and like he's not gonna explain it to her. Like, so he just drops her off in the middle of the street, and she's like, not naked, but she's still got what? I don't even think she has a shirt on, right? She
No,
has,
she's just in her bra and
she's
panties.
yeah, she might have shorts on. She has like short shorts on. at
Booty
that
shorts.
part. Yeah, booty shorts. She has a
Does she
bra
have-
and booty shorts on.
does she
Yeah.
have booty shorts
So
on?
she probably has her underwear too, but yeah. But so
And I'm no expert, but I'm going to even go on a limb here. But the underwear she was even wearing, they didn't try to go for young teen kind of underwear. It looks like more just kind of, I don't want to say granny panties on this one, but
that later on, yes, she is wearing pretty much granny panties. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like even the clothing was designed to make you feel at times, like Mark said, you don't know what time period you're looking at here.
But
like,
I also feel like that's kind of middle America. I don't think that's a thing that they like young girls wear everywhere.
Right.
Because
we live in bougie Jersey, so that's the way it works.
Yeah,
here.
I guess so. And then they show the cops all at the house, and I think that's Greg and his mom. Or
So this is another thing I want to touch on. Before they even call the cops, you see Greg in his kitchen. He literally has a stainless steel kitchen. His kitchen is brand new. Like, everything looks brand new in there. And then you go back to the beginning of the movie when they're looking at Jay's kitchen. It's old, yellow, ratty, looking like the 70s. So this is another thing where I feel like it wants to throw you off, where it's a modern house here and then not modern there, you know?
right.
Like, it's trying to throw you off in this whole situation.
But that something like the kitchen though could just go back to like Greg's household has more money than Jay's, because if you notice, Jay's dad's not around in this, so I'm assuming he's dead. I don't think he's alive.
Well, yeah.
So maybe mom can't afford new shit, you know. But I mean,
But I just go to the theory that it doesn't want you to know what's going on, what time period, what
Right.
anything is, to make it.
yeah. So the cops are at the house, and they're pretty much asking like Jay what happened and all that stuff. It cuts to her in her bathroom, and she's looking in her underwear, which I don't understand. I guess
Pubic lice.
I mean, I guess I don't really know. Is she just like, is it from the trauma of like having sex with him and then that happening?
I mean, it's possible. There's a lot of things that you could say commentary wise here about maturation, sexuality, womanhood, especially because like right as she's looking down, you know, obviously into her underwear, and she's beginning to have this panic. A ball hits the window, and she looks over, and it's a red ball, and looking like a red period. So it could.
I don't think that's what it is.
It's a possibility.
This is what I take. Like, this is when I start putting pieces together.
Okay.
When you see red, that's when it's coming. If you remember from the beginning of the girl had red heels on, and she was running away.
Okay.
And then I don't remember what hue. So there's always red around, supposedly, I believe, when the thing's coming. So the red ball hits the thing, and then that's when she like starts saying that the thing's coming.
Right.
Interesting.
And then it cuts to outside. Well, it cuts to her like looking out the window at the ball, and she doesn't see anybody around. So she goes back to standing in front of the sink and the mirror, and then you see one of those fucking pervy neighbor kids. It's like up on her roof looking through the window.
That is wild.
Dude,
Absolutely wild.
That's what I'm saying. But okay,
How did no one hear that?
How did she not see him?
Kids were playing Metal Gear Solid.
And if he's up there looking through the window, why the fuck did he hit it with the ball to get her to come over so he can
And
look
maybe
better?
unless the other kid's downstairs, because there was two of them.
Yeah.
Maybe the one downstairs was trying to fuck with him.
Yeah, it could be. But the thing is, she looks out and there's nobody out there. I don't know. That
He's in a bush.
I feel like those kids, the neighbors, are totally underused, or I don't understand why they're in this. But maybe it's also an ominous, like somebody's always watching you kind of thing. I don't know what they're going for with those kids.
Yeah.
But either way, it's fucking creepy looking through the window.
But then they go to the ice cream parlor, and then she's finally telling Kelly and Paul what that the thing's following her. But this doesn't make sense to me. Wouldn't this be the first thing that she tells them? Like, hey, something's following me, or something along those lines.
But the thing is, she didn't know yet. She was right before that. She's sitting in college, like her class in college, and
my god, I skipped that.
yeah,
oh my god, we have to go back.
Yeah, she's looking out the window, and there's an old woman in like a gown, like a nightgown, walking through the courtyard towards her class, and she's staring at the woman out the window, and the woman's staring directly at her and walking towards her.
Yeah.
So
This reminds me of Halloween too.
yeah, she starts to feel uncomfortable, so she gets up and she walks out of class, and she's in the hall, and she walks past a couple girls, and she's walking towards the door, and then looks back, and she sees the old woman in the hallway of the school following her.
Yeah.
And she says, "Excuse me," and the old woman who's walking towards her doesn't say a thing, but the two girls.
No, she says hello.
Oh, hello.
And then the one girl's like, hello.
Yeah, like the two. They're not like, what the fuck you want, bitch? We're trying to have a conversation.
So then the next scene, then they're in the ice cream place.
Yes.
And she's telling Paul and Kelly about it. But I don't understand why this wouldn't be the first thing she says to them if she's so close with her sister.
that like all the stuff about
all this stuff is like following her. Like, this happened, that happened.
But the thing is, this, like I said, this is the first time she saw it. So the way they make it seem is that she told Kelly, and I guess the cops too, exactly what he said to her. But like everyone's like, well, what the fuck? Why would he say like that weird shit? Because at one point they show her mom sitting with somebody, and her mom's like, yeah, I can't believe like she said that he said all this weird stuff to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul offers at the ice cream shop though to sleep over.
Yeah, he's horny as hell.
Yeah, well,
he's like, hell yeah, I'm getting over here sleeping here, dog.
Yeah, but he's offering to like protect her because in the scene where they're all watching the movie in the beginning, it's very clear that Paul kind of has like a crush on her, and he's a little awkward around her, so he's kind of trying to step up and hey, I'll protect you.
Yeah, skinny ass boy weighs 90 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, and then cuts to they're having the sleepover. Well,
yeah,
Paul's there.
Yeah, but they're all in the bathroom, like brushing their teeth.
Yeah.
But what's funny is Yara's on the toilet, and I always thought she was brushing her teeth too, but she was just eating a Twizzler. I never thought, like, until I watched it the other day, she has a Twizzler in her mouth.
Twizzlers aren't bad, man.
I know, but she's also clipping her toenails. I'm like, how is she clipping her toenails, brushing her teeth?
Clipping her nasty ass toenails.
Yeah, nasty ass toenails. And so I don't know. I thought that was funny. And then when it shows Paul downstairs, he's also watching a movie that's in black and white from like the 50s, and I can't remember what movie it was off the top of my head.
On their shitty ass TV.
Yeah.
But Jay comes downstairs saying that she couldn't sleep, I guess. So Paul says, well, we could sleep right here with me. And so she sits on the couch with him, and they start discussing how they were each other's like first kiss or something. And then Paul kissed Kelly, so that kind of ruined things. And he looks like he really like kicked himself in the ass for that one. And then they hear like glass breaking. Paul kind of goes to check it out after taking a second. He didn't step up right away. He's kind of a little bitch, if you ask me. But
yeah,
he gets up and he goes to the kitchen. He says like somebody broke your kitchen window.
Let me go tell Kelly to leave me down here by myself.
Yeah, so the first thing he says is like, all right, I'm gonna go upstairs and like wake up your sister to like let her know. Which who gives a fuck if Kelly knows or not? Like,
yeah, he's supposed to be the knight in shining armor.
Yeah, somebody just broke the fucking window.
I'm gonna go upstairs and shut all the doors and good luck.
So
good night, good luck.
Jay gets up to go take a look, like kind of in the kitchen, like what the fuck is going on? And there's a like girl walking towards her with like her tits out, and she's got one sock on, and she's like pissing all over the floor. Dude, when I saw that like, I mean, I get it, like that's supposed to be very like what the fuck and disorienting, I guess, almost, because you're like you're not expecting that. No matter what you see, you're like kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, it's awkward.
Good podcast material right here, guys. So Jay, she runs upstairs and she runs to her room and she locks the door. And then she hears a knock, who I think is Yara knocking. And when Kelly opens it, because Kelly and Paul are in the room with her, when Kelly opens up the door, some tall guy comes walking in.
Yo.
And that's another thing about like all the people. So this thing takes several forms. It's always switching what it looks like. It's doing whatever it can to get as close as it can to you. A lot of the times, the eyes, they almost look like gouged out. But when they get close, they're not gouged out. They're just darkened, like black, and almost like red around the eyes. I don't know. But this guy comes like, he's tall as fuck, and he comes
7'1".
Yeah, he comes ducking through the door frame, and
I mean, it's one of those things that like you just had the totally disorienting appearance of it as the woman with the leaky crotch, just throwing you off. And then I was not expecting to see a 7-foot tall, gigantic dude emerge from the darkness, and the stomping of his feet walking through like that. This movie is very good at subverting my expectations and catching me off guard. I
think that's what a lot of this movie is, catching you off guard, and that I think that, and you feel the terror that the characters are going through every time they see this thing, like I said earlier.
Yes.
And that makes you terrified watching it. And especially the way they build up the characters, you're invested. I mean, you feel what they're feeling. So she goes up off the balcony, I think, right?
Yeah, and gets on the bike.
Yeah, she gets on a bike, and she rides her bike to a park.
Which I don't understand how she's at the park, and then Greg sees her with the girl. They're like smoking pot. and then she rides to the park, and then 4 seconds later, Kelly and Paul like run up. No one has a cell phone unless this park's right next to their house. How do they know exactly where she went?
I mean, they could have just went looking for her. I don't really know.
But if it does it like as in one continuous shot, like she pulls up on the bike and then she walks over, sits in the swing, and then they run up.
It's not a continuous shot because they show her feet.
Do they? I don't remember.
Yeah, they show like her like kicking off the sand like to like kind of push herself, and then when she sees them approaching, she doesn't know what it is, so she like stops and her feet drag in the sand a little bit, and then she sees them approaching, and they're like, "Oh my god, Jay! Like what the fuck happened?"
And then Greg rolls up right behind them too. So that's
yeah, well, that's another thing. They see someone else approaching, but you can't see who it is. They do that really well in this. There's always someone in the background, walking, and you never know is that it or not because it's always changing shapes. But it's Greg walking up, and he kind of offers, to take them all to go find Hugh.
Which, another thing is, I don't know why she waited so long to say, you know what, let me go try to figure it out now. Unless she was still traumatized and whatnot. But I feel like that would have been the first thing I do. It's like, try to find this dude.
Well, I mean, if somebody just had sex with you and then like chloroformed you, tied you up, and then like dumped you at your house, I don't think you want to see that person again. But like,
I guess you're right, but I feel like if the cops came to the house, wouldn't you say, hey, this is where I've been to his house at? I've never been inside of it.
Well, they did tell him that.
But I'm saying, did the cops ever go there? Because then
I don't know.
But then you see, once he says, okay, I'll drive you there, they take a couple minutes drive, and then they get there, and it doesn't look like the cops ever went there.
I don't know. There's no there's no caution tape, anything like that. You're right, but I don't know. Or did she might not have known the address. She might have just said, yeah, I know where it is, but like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, because there's plenty of places like I still couldn't tell you my girlfriend's address, and
Well, don't say that on here.
so why? Like, I don't know it. I know how to get there, but I know what street it is. But
Do you know my address?
well, yeah, and you always tell me I get it wrong. Putting the GPS wrong every time. But yeah, it turns out he was living in an old abandoned building, and it's got bottles and cans like on strings in front of all the windows. All the windows are covered with either like paper or comic books or blacked out. So pretty much almost like alarms to like let him know if somebody's coming in or something like that. And when they're upstairs, well, Paul's upstairs looking through porno magazine, he finds a photo, and it's the guy Hugh.
Yeah, in his high school.
In like a Letterman jacket.
Well, he's not wearing the Letterman jacket. The girl's wearing the Letterman jacket.
Oh, and Jay says he recognizes the letter.
L.
Yeah, the letter.
I can't remember the high school off the top of my head.
No, me neither.
I couldn't tell from the picture. That wasn't Annie in the picture, was it?
That's what I thought.
So,
but I don't know. I don't remember now.
I thought when I watched it that was Annie in the picture, and so.
Well, that's what I was gonna bring up later, because he's saying like obviously he didn't get it from Annie because
maybe he gave it to Annie, and then it got her, and that went back to him.
Yeah, but the thing is, it looked like he was dating whatever girl's in that picture.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
But he said he met somebody at a bar. Okay, so hold on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he met the girl at the. Well, we didn't get to that part yet. So then they get the picture. Jay knows what high school it is, so they get to the high school. The lady shows him the yearbook, and they find out his real name is Jeff, and this mother sucker been lying.
so, and I don't know how, but like they suddenly find out where Jeff lives, which I don't understand that.
Well, I guess they Googled his name. They have Google maybe,
but they don't have cell phones.
No,
they
have
got old ass 2 TVs.
Yeah.
So they go to his house though, and he comes out to talk to them, and he's pretty much telling us as viewers and them everything that has already been said.
Yep. Basically, like, fuck off, we shouldn't be in the same spot.
Well, he says, I got it because someone had sex with me, so now it follows me, or it was following me, and my job was to pass it on, and I passed it on to you. I'm sorry I did it, but like somebody did it to me, and I don't know what to tell you. He's like, and then that's when he says like, yeah, we shouldn't even be in the same spot. But he says that the girl he got it from was somebody at a bar.
Okay, so then I'm saying maybe then he had sex with Annie, she dies, so it reverts back to him.
But they're like in a high school picture, I'm saying.
You don't know how, there's no time period. You don't know how long it could have been.
I don't even know if he's still in high school.
He's 21, so I'm assuming not.
He could still be in high school.
I thought he lied about his age.
He was buying, he had beer, he was buying the beers. In the beginning, when they first are making the sex in the
Oh
car,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he has
yeah,
beers
yeah.
in his hand.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's what I'm thinking. So I want to know if that's the girl Annie in the picture. I don't know if it is for sure, but next
Yeah.
time I watch it, I'll have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Who brought that up, Rob?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, he pretty much, and I love how his anxiety's so high because like Jay's sitting right there because there's a girl who like looked like she just got to like soccer practice or something, like walking by
He
them,
starts
and he's
freaking
like,
out.
yeah, he's
Do you guys see her? Do you guys see her?
Jeff, sorry, he's like, do you guys see that girl? And then like everyone's like, yeah, and he's like, oh,
You know,
we shouldn't even be in the same spot. Like, get the fuck out
Bye.
of here. And he's like, I suggest you just find someone and have sex with them. The farther like you get it away from you, like the better. Like, so just hurry up and get rid of it.
And that's when Paul got the idea. He get a little sparkle in his eye.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I forgot to mention that at the high school, there's another. They employ another continuous shot in the hallway.
Oh, that circular shot.
That circular
Yes.
shot. And one of the things I noticed in the circular shot, there's one character in the circular shot, a girl in a white hoodie, that's walking in the courtyard. And if you look carefully, it's in that shot. And then when they're leaving the high school and they're getting in the car, as they're like all sitting in the car, and you look out the windshield, that same girl is walking slowly towards the car again.
I have to go.
I
back
didn't
and
even notice it, so that's another thing I would have
Yeah,
to watch.
and I caught it, and I was like, oh, this son of a.
I'm assuming this movie is filled with so many little things like that.
Well, I just know it pinged my anxiety a little bit because I was like, is this it? Is this it? Is it here?
Right. I guess I'll talk more about that later.
Sure. Yeah.
So where were we at?
We got to the hunt for Jeff. And
So then they
now-
get back in the car, and Greg's like, they start talking about like, oh, Greg's like, oh, my parents won't mind if we go here, and then they pull up to like the lake house.
in what appears to be summertime now.
Yeah.
But so now we're in a different season, but
Well, I mean, she was swimming in a pool earlier.
and
Yeah.
then she was in a winter jacket. And
Yeah,
then
but that's what I'm
they-
saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, what Greg is driving like, so they leave during the day, right? And they drive all through the night and get there in the morning.
I guess so. I don't know. I don't remember.
So that's a lot of driving. Because I'm assuming they didn't leave in the morning to go on this drive, but they leave like, it looks like maybe afternoon or something. And then they do drive all through the night, and they get to the place in the morning, and then it shows them having breakfast. So they were driving for a while.
they put some
correct?
mileage.
Yeah, so they put some. That's the point I'm making. So they put some mileage in, and they were there for at least one day. They were there for at least one day because you see, it go into like nighttime, and then the next day after that, I think that's when Greg takes out the gun and he's letting Jay practice with it, and then
Yeah.
it shows them down at the beach. So they've been there a full day.
yeah, don't they also show Jay like putting up the bottles and the cans in the window?
Yes, that's like the first thing that they do when
Yeah.
they get there. So she's pretty much recreating what Jeff did at the abandoned house.
Yeah, and this was the scene. The practice shot scenes was probably the only scene where I can call maybe some lazy effects and cinematography into play. And you're gonna find me very hard for me to find legitimate gripes with this film because, as you might be able to tell, I do like this film. But during the editing process, first of all, when she's firing the gun, there are some times where the muzzle flash and smoke, it just looks like some clear after effects that were put on. But then if you look closer, we're looking at a revolver. It's not revolving.
Oh, I never even noticed that.
Like the hammer's not firing. It's not
Didn't even
revolving.
notice that either.
yeah,
Yeah, if you look closely at it, the gun, none of the mechanisms are working. She's just lifting her hand up.
I need to start watching things a little bit closer.
That's
you
what
guys
I'm
are
saying.
spotting like all this shit.
Well,
I'm like, I
yeah,
don't
but I'm
know.
saying it's like every time I watch this movie,
You can
I
pick
see
up a
another
little
thing,
bit more.
another thing,
Yeah.
another thing, another thing, another thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm notorious
another
for
one.
nitpicking gun effects in films and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'm looking at. I'm like, wait a minute.
yeah,
So
So-
otherwise, like I said, so far we're on point.
yeah. They're all on the beach. Yara's in the water. I think it's Yara, right? She's in the water.
Yeah, I thought you were just making fun of me. 'cause
Oh,
I
here
can't-
we go. This
I
is
can't
my-
pronounce
this-
her name.
No, it's Yara.
This has got to be
So
my favorite scene in this entire film.
Same here.
Yara's in the water, and they're all sitting around like on the beach, and Kelly's saying like, "Oh, would you want to get in the water?" And Jay's like, "Oh, maybe
so
later,
nice out."
maybe later." But in the background, you do see like a woman slowly like approaching, and she's taking like almost like a zigzaggy kind of path, like it's got a little bit of a curve, like
Yeah,
and Greg's like, oh,
She's
I'm
not
gonna go
stepping on the cracks to break her mother's backs.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming it's just dirt, but Greg's like, oh, I'm gonna go take a piss, and he kind of walks off, and he doesn't even take notice to the girl, and the girl's getting closer and closer,
Yeah.
and then they cut back a little bit, and you see like Jay's hair getting lifted up, and then somebody's forcibly pulling her up by her
Can
hair.
I stop you there?
Yeah.
I don't know if Rob has the same idea. Or that girl that's coming towards them looks like Yara.
It is Yara.
It looks like Yara.
Is it?
She's taken on the form of Yara, and Yara is the one who's not in the group. She's
In the water.
on the water. And I want to, first of all, here we go again with the beautiful cinematography. The way they were cutting between the group members as this shot was going is to set your heart rate off.
Right.
And the way I look at it is, you know she's approaching, but she's taking this zigzag pattern.
Yeah.
So you realize when you're watching an approach vector of any kind in like a film, you can kind of start to get a feel for like how long the scene's going to go on until they've caught up with the person.
Right.
But based on the way she's walking and the way they're cutting, and they don't cut in any sequence order. 1 second they'll be on Paul, then they'll be back on Jay, then they'll be on Lily, his sister, and no order. So you're sitting here like, it's going to be here any second now. It's
Kelly.
going to... Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It was Lily.
Lily's
the
her real
actress.
name.
The actress,
Yeah.
yeah. Kelly.
Psyched.
But you're like, at any second, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then the hair goes up.
Yeah.
But another thing I like about that too is when things walking towards them, Kelly's looking directly towards Jay, and the thing would be directly behind her.
Yeah, you almost want to scream at
Yeah,
the
like what do you have to see it? It's right
like,
there.
Like you want to you want to scream at the screen and be like, behind you,
Yeah.
run. And as soon as that hair goes up, your stomach falls down. You're like, here we go.
Yeah, shit's about to happen. Yeah.
And then we start the steel cage match. We get the chair going.
So yeah, she's the thing is pulling on. It is pulling on Jay's hair, and Paul like runs up with a chair. Dude, he's ready for the TLC
Smashes
match.
it.
He was about to fucking tell Devon to get the
Yeah.
table. Devon. So he like hits the thing with a chair, and the thing just like looks like it just shoos him off, like just
Oh, yeah.
swats, and you can't see anything. But,
But
you
this
see
is
him
also the first
flying.
time that we see an interaction between it and something that can't comprehend it, which actually even scared me more because I'm like, yo, this thing can touch you even if you don't see it.
Well, yeah, but in this whole scene, you don't even see it. It's invisible because it's showing you from the perspective of somebody who isn't able to see it.
But like this is an in-universe establishment of rule set here. Like up until this point, you're thinking the only thing this thing can touch or harm are people that can see it.
Yeah.
Now you're like, he just punted Paul across the beach.
Yeah.
It just punted
Paul
him.
goes like flying, and I think that allows Jay to get away, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Jay starts scrambling towards the shed where she had been previously, and then meanwhile Greg's trying to zip up his fly over there, like, oh my god, what's going on?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
runs into the shed to get the gun.
Yeah.
So she runs into the shed, closes the door, and they're all kind of saying like, "Yo, let us in." Or were they in there with her already?
I don't think Greg was in there yet because
No, I know Greg wasn't.
No,
but
so
I'm
they
saying-
were. No, I think they went in. She left the door open because she wanted. Then she puts the gun out the door to shoot at it.
Yeah.
And then she misses and then hits it and it falls down and
Yeah.
then it gets up, gets
And-
closer. Then that's when they shut the door.
So you see her hit the thing with a bullet, and blood comes out of it. So it can be harmed because it falls down right away, or it can conceivably be harmed. And the whole time
Yeah.
she's shooting, she misses a bunch of shots, and then
Almost
she finally
hits
hits
Greg.
it.
Yeah,
and
I,
Greg's like,
I really thought that she was gonna kill Greg.
yeah, and Greg's like, stop shooting, because at this point he didn't even see the first quarrel, so he thinks that she's just fucking crazy and just shooting.
Yeah,
and
she's lost her mind.
and he doesn't even know if she's shooting at her or not. But the thing put a hole in the door, and so when he finally comes up, he's like, "What?" Like he looks through the hole in the door, and he's like, "What? Like what the fuck did you do to my door?" And she's like, "It wasn't me. I don't know what. Like it's out there. I don't know what's going on." He's like, "There's nothing out here."
And yeah, this is my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
When you see the tall dude walk by, then it kicks in the thing. You don't see it kick in the
Yeah.
bottom of the door, and then Greg comes up. It's like, bruh. And then the little kid comes in and like screams at them.
Yeah, there's a little kid who crawls through the hole and makes like a screeching noise at them, and she like is freaked out, so she runs out the door, the other door, to the. It's almost like a barn door. She runs out
Yeah.
and she runs straight to the car, starts the car up, and just fucking leaves those motherfuckers behind. And they're all like, "What? Wait for us!" And she's like, "Nah, no, fuck."
And I like
out,
how
dog.
they're chasing after her, and as they're running, you can clearly see it just walking amongst them.
Yeah.
like walking towards. And I gotta laugh because I think this is the only time that it vocalizes itself.
What? That's the boy.
Yeah, as the young boy, like makes an audible sound. And
Yeah, I don't think it does anywhere else.
Yeah, I think it was just trying to let her know, like, bitch, you shot me.
Yeah.
This is not how this works.
Or they just did it for scare effect.
I
They
mean,
didn't
it
realize-
was-
They didn't realize like it doesn't.
It
talk
was an
together.
effective scare tactic.
Oh,
because that
yeah.
is once again subverting my expectations.
because
I did not expect to see
They
that.
keep the camera on that hole so much, and you're just expecting
You're
something
waiting,
to come
you're
in.
waiting, you're
but then when
waiting.
like Greg ducks down, he's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" You're kind of like, "So was the coast clear?" And then as soon as he goes away, like it just comes through the hole.
Well, it's
Like,
the same thing
gotcha,
when they
bitch.
open the door at the
the-
house for
yeah.
Yara or Yari,
Yara.
and then the big dude comes out.
First time. Yeah. So she gets in the car and she starts driving away, and she hits the dirt road, and she's traveling down the dirt road, and she's kind of looking back to see like like how close is it, how fast is it, is behind me, and a truck is backing out of their driveway. So she sees that, slams on the brakes, and kind of goes off into a cornfield, and I guess crashes in the cornfield.
Yeah, the corn broke her fall, broke the car.
Yeah, I get the corn broke the car, but it cuts to her in the hospital. But she has like a broken arm now and like a scratch on her head
Yeah.
from crashing the fucking car in a cornfield.
And what's wild about this is literally there's 5 people there and they're all sleeping in these probably uncomfortable chairs.
Well, I mean, they've been through a lot, I'm assuming.
But the mom's there too. Would she been through a lot too?
I don't know.
Maybe.
She probably working 14 jobs to support those fucking lame ass kids that just sit around and do shit all day. Except crash fucking cars and
And then at this scene, you can clearly see it goes from day to night. And Jay doesn't say like, "Wow, we've been here a long time. We gotta go. I gotta get out of here. This thing's gonna get to me soon."
but I think it's a hospital. She feels like it's almost like a safe place.
Maybe, but anyone could be it.
And I don't know if she necessarily feels safe because the first scene we see of her there is she starts hearing the walking sound outside her door and starts
right.
having a panic attack right
and
away.
There's just a nurse walking by.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But I'm saying they keep showing the door like you're anticipating it's gonna come through.
Right.
You
Because she does wake up and she doesn't know how long she's already been there too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you also don't know how far they are from wherever
yeah,
they were.
but I'm saying it goes through the passing of time
And
from day to night at some point while she's laying
Yeah.
there in that scene.
Yeah.
And so I'm surprised she doesn't try to panic and get out.
Right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this movie continues to draw us off because it is the precise the precise fact that we don't know how much time has passed, how far we are, that it adds to our anxiety as to, is it here yet? Is it coming? It's definitely coming. When is it going to be here? And so there's that feeling. By this point, you have established this terror inside you that it is always coming, and you are never safe at any moment. And that is a rare thing in films, I think, to have the terror carry all the way through, even in scenes that are intended to be terrifying.
Even when there's nothing happening. in
Even
the
when
scene.
nothing's happening,
Yeah.
I mean, this movie is anxiety attack from beginning to end.
Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why it shows you the door and you're like waiting and waiting.
Right.
But then as the next scene progresses, I guess she finally decides she's like, I'm going to pass it on to Greg.
So Greg and her like.
But they're like having sex and the window's open. Anyone can see.
Yeah.
But this scene made me so uncomfortable just by the facial expressions because
Yes.
Greg looks like he's like having the time of his life. He's like, hell yeah, I'll get to have sex with her. And
You can tell she's
she's like
totally
not enjoying
it.
She's
Yeah.
this is terrible.
She's just doing it because
Yeah.
she has to.
It's so uncomfortable watching his
Right.
face and her face at the same time. Like that's the most uncomfortable scene I think in the
Right.
movie to me.
Yeah. I can see-
in the whole movie, no, not for me. I honestly think that the part in the car is a little bit more uncomfortable, but yeah, I agree. So then it cuts to, I guess, a few days later or something like that, and Greg says, like, yeah, I haven't seen anything. Well, first he says it in the hospital once. Like,
Yeah,
Jay asks, like, oh, have you seen anything? He says, no, I haven't seen anything. And then
He comes over to them. Kelly, Paul, and Yari are outside, so he walks over to them, and he's like, I haven't seen anything.
he asks if he can see.
Oh yeah, he's like,
Jay.
can I see? And she's like, maybe
And they're like, nah, maybe like later she can call you or something.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't really left the room. She's kind of, traumatized, I
I'll have her
guess.
call you later.
Yeah, we'll have her call you. And he's like, oh, okay. And they're like, you really haven't seen anything? He's like, no, not a thing. So everyone's like, something happened. Paul's like, something happened. We didn't make shit up.
Paul's like, I got punched across.
What's what he said? He
beach.
said, I think he said like, I got thrown. Like something did.
He
that.
also weighs 90 pounds, so it could have been in the wind.
Yeah, you might be right. So then,
But when he says, when they say you don't believe it, he's kind of like, all right, I'll talk to you later.
yeah,
And then Yari or Yara or whatever,
Yara.
I'll never know her name for the rest of my entire life. She's like, wait, you really didn't see anything? So that kind of like is another theory from my brain. I have so many theories and little strings all
how about
over.
this? We'll let you talk about them at the
I'll
end.
literally be talking for 2 years.
Okay. So then it shows Jay at night, and she's kind of like looking out her window as she's locked up in her room, and she sees someone. It looks like Greg, right? That's supposed to be Greg.
I think it is Greg.
It's supposed to be Greg.
Well, it looks like
Greg.
it's Greg. It's Greg.
Yeah. So it's Greg's, like in like Long John's.
Long John Silver's.
Yeah, at Long. I don't know if Long Johns are called the same thing everywhere in like the country, but
His PJs.
yeah, almost like pajamas, like thermals. He's wearing Long Johns, and he walks up to his own house and tries to open the door, and when it doesn't open, he like picks up a brick and just tosses it through the window, which we've already seen happen once, or we heard it happen once.
But so when he was shaking the door,
right,
if the mom opened the door, would the mom seen anything or just said, "What the fuck"?
I don't think so.
And I think it would have capitalized on that because
I don't even think his mom was home.
Right. If his mom was home, let's put it this way. Remember what we said? I'm going to go back to that first quote. It's slow, but it's not dumb.
Right.
It makes enough noise. You open the door enough to look out and around, and all of a sudden it slips right in past you.
We don't know that.
This scene to me perfectly encapsulates the cold, relentless nature of it. Just casually walks through the door, gives a little shake. Nope. I'm going to come on in.
Yep.
Breaks the window.
Big window next to the door.
And I had to laugh a little bit the way he just flops in through the window. Like,
yeah.
no grace, no, just head over heels, right? Flopping on in.
So when Jay sees this, she obviously realizes, like, that's not fucking Greg. That's whatever it is. So she starts, kind of screaming, but then when it gets inside, she runs outside. Which
No, she calls Greg and he doesn't answer.
Oh, yeah, she calls Greg and he doesn't answer.
With a phone that's not cordless. Just every time they show someone a phone, it has a cord. No cordless phones.
Except for the first girl, Annie.
No, I'm talking about a house phone.
Oh.
Anytime
house
anyone's
phone.
on a house phone or they show a house phone on the wall, it always has a cord.
So she goes outside and goes over to Greg's house, which, okay, if you think that this is the thing and it's coming to get Greg, who's the only person you've passed it on to, and you don't even know if he's passed it on, why the fuck are you going in the same house as him? I get to,
You
like,
gotta
warn
him, obviously.
I get to warn
because you know
him.
the thing won't hurt you.
Well, she doesn't know that.
Well,
She doesn't.
well, Hugh.
She finds it out.
Yeah, but I'm saying Hugh and Jeff kind of explained that.
Because she follows it into the house, and it's like knocking on Greg's door, and she's like saying like, Greg, don't open up the door, and it stops and looks at her,
It's like, hold on a minute.
and it's like, yeah, don't worry, bitch, like you're next, don't worry about it. And so he opens up the door, he's like, Mom, like, stop knocking on my door, something like that, and then it just leaps at him, and then she runs over to the doorway, and you see it like fucking Greg
Like dry humping him
to death.
Yeah, like
dry
humping
humps him to death.
And that's the second kill of the movie. He like turns gray and he's dead. It doesn't say how. It's not like the Annie who had her like leg snapped. It looks like the life force was just sucked out of him.
She's also emitting liquid from her hands.
Yeah, and her vagine.
Yeah.
So
Like if you look back at the scene, this is where water comes into play again. There's a lot of liquid emitting from her crotch and her hands, and it's like, I don't know what it's symbolized. I just saw my notice and I said,
yeah,
they made the sex and he died.
yeah, he literally gets fucked to death.
Yeah.
Which-
So then when she runs away, I believe it turns back into Greg, right? It doesn't.
Yes. When she gets in she runs out of the house and then she gets in her car, and when she's like driving away, yeah, she sees Greg walking out of his house again in the Long Johns. So she like drives to. They show her driving, and it seems like a while because they keep cutting like the camera, but it's all at night, and she stops in like a random spot on a random like it looks like a rural road, but maybe like on a bridge almost like an older bridge, and she gets out of the car,
Takes a nap.
and she falls asleep on the hood of her car,
Which is probably uncomfortable.
which is probably fucking dumb because now you're outside the car and it's one less thing between you and that thing if it catches up.
Yeah.
which it doesn't because she wakes up in the morning.
I thought she was actually, she was pulling an Annie for a minute.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
that's what I felt too.
What,
that
like
she was going to give up. Yeah.
Oh, well,
That
maybe.
it's
But then
all-
when she made it through the night, maybe that's what she needed. you
Yeah.
know? So she wakes up and she walks through some tall grass and she sees some guys on a boat, and she just starts getting undressed.
Yeah, she goes in the water, so I felt like maybe she thought, let me swim over to them and like let them fuck me.
Yeah, which presumably that's what happened.
But you don't know that.
But yeah, you don't know that. But like, why else would she take off her clothes and then,
Maybe she thought about it, but
she got
does-
in the water.
But then she doesn't do it. She maybe she turns around. She goes home.
But we don't know that. But the thing is, yeah,
Well,
no
you-
matter what, we don't know what happens.
I'm
My
assuming.
assu-
I'm assuming
yeah.
she was going to, and then changed her mind.
My assumption is she did have sex with him.
Well, it wouldn't make sense.
Why? Because it comes after her again.
Well, no, because, well, unless
I think she does because later on, the next time she sees the creature, she gets this look on her face that's like I killed those.
fucking
Like
on.
also it's kind of like great. I
Oh.
killed Greg, and now those guys are dead too. Why do people keep dying? Why does this keep happening? It's just like this feeling of like
no hope,
no hope. Yeah, no hope.
and like it's my fucking fault.
Yeah, like she knows if I'm seeing you back here, those guys are dead.
Yeah,
yeah, but she goes home after that.
Yeah.
It like cuts to her at the home, and then Paul like is talking to her and says like, pass it along to me. And
Yeah.
she's like, no, and then he like tries to kiss her.
yeah.
I'm like, this
So,
is so awkward.
I also have another question, which they don't really address it. Say she already passed it on to somebody. Can she have sex with other people and then like create almost like
A
like,
new timeline.
no, like a defense, so that like it
No,
has to go around killing all these people before it's allowed to get to her?
No, I don't think.
Or is
so.
it like
no?
she has the one bullet, shoots somebody. Now they have the bullet and they have to shoot somebody. She can only shoot one person at a time.
Yeah, I think it's more so.
I think it's
that.
a linear thing. Yeah.
So okay.
Well,
that's
it's
kinda
funny when
fucking shitty.
he goes, and I might be wrong on this one in this shot, but like when Paul goes to kiss Jay,
Uh-huh.
isn't that Kelly sleeping up there on the bed right next to him?
Yeah, but he's horny as hell for her.
I'm just saying, he's
But
like,
the thing is,
you don't even care.
but the thing is, I think no matter, but at this point, I don't think he's doing it just because, like, he's obviously willing to put himself in harm's way because he cares about her. But I don't think he's viewing it as like, fuck, I'm horny, I'm trying to get fucked right now.
Yeah, he's got the
I
hero
think
complex
he's
going
He's
on.
doing it like I'm doing this to help her.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck for sisters right there.
Maybe
know?
he does. Maybe he wants
maybe
both
he
at
likes
once.
maybe he likes an audience. I don't know, but yeah, but I didn't. I think I did notice. But
I saw
either
her
way,
leg
like,
hanging off, and I
yeah,
was
either
like-
way, like I don't think that was the point. Like I don't think he was doing it to be like I'm finally gonna have sex with her. He's like fuck it, I'm gonna try to fix this for her. Like he's trying to be that knight in shining armor because
Mm-hmm.
obviously Greg didn't work out, and he asks specifically like when she rejects him, like why would you choose Greg? And then she says like I thought he could handle it.
Well, and plus I slept with it in high school, so it didn't really matter.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, she says I did it in high school, so it's not a big deal.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Honestly, I've seen this a few times and I didn't even catch that.
So wait, it's like Greg, the guy that she lost her virginity to?
They never really
I don't
said.
know about I don't know about that, but
Because there's like a weird conversation between them earlier on where he says something like, "Oh, like I should have called more often, or I should have talked to you," or something like that. Like it's a weird illusion that they had a prior relation,
Well, they did apparently.
and
They
apparently,
had
Yeah.
sex.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like maybe like they had sex and he just didn't call her.
Well, he seems like that kind of guy.
Yeah,
You know who he reminded me of? Skeet Ulrich.
he does kind of look like
Like
him.
that,
Yeah.
like that slimy character from like Scream. Like how,
little sleaze back.
like yeah,
Yeah,
he had that like slick back hair, and he kind of like I don't know, looked like that dirtbag kind of person.
kind of looked like he deserved to get dry humped to death.
But so anyway, they come up with a plan, I guess. So they start packing up and they go. They plan on going to a pool. They don't tell you where they're going. I don't think they talk about a pool that
They said, "Oh, I haven't been there since I was like 12."
Yeah, so they discuss how like they used to go to a pool, but you see them like loading a bunch of stuff into the car, and when they get into the car and Paul starts pulling out of the driveway, there's just an old like
Yeah, that's if you look through the house,
uh-huh.
that's a picture of her. That's her grandfather.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's my single favorite appearance of the creature because he's just standing on top of that house, just hanging out like, "What's good?
Yeah,
I'm
old,
back."
naked guy, dick out.
So the thing
no
with
problem.
this is where you said that she had sex with those dudes and maybe it killed her. She doesn't look like it's surprised it's there, like it's back.
But the thing is, like, I doubt if she had sex with those guys, I doubt she's going through the whole fucking story. Like, yeah, this thing's gonna follow you. Like,
No.
good luck. So like, they might
I'm-
have got caught off guard.
like
They could've
immediately.
just-
You're saying, but she
Yeah.
doesn't look surprised when she sees it the next time. To me,
dude, it already killed Greg. Like, she probably is like, yeah, it's gonna fucking kill people.
She's probably in her mind like
That's also why I think
She's
she
like,
didn't
I-
want to have sex with Paul.
I think when she had sex with those guys, she probably figured to herself, I bought myself a little more time. And then basically by seeing him, she's like, here we go.
Because I also think that's another reason why she chose Greg instead of Paul. She actually cares about Paul.
no. But the thing is,
It wasn't just that she thought.
no,
Greg
I
could
understand that.
handle
But
it.
I'm saying if they're already loading the car, unless I'm wrong, they don't see anything until they're driving away. So
Right.
she knows the thing's still coming after her.
I guess you're right.
So that's why I thought maybe she was gonna swim out to them, do it, and then she said, you know what, I don't want to do it to them. Same thing with Annie in the beginning. She could sleep with probably any dude and
Yeah.
pass it along, but didn't want to feel the guilt.
I mean, she was dripping, soaking
Yeah.
wet when she drove home. So
Well, no, she.
But he's
you
saying
see-
maybe she turned around.
maybe she got in the water and said, you know what, I don't want
because
to
her
do
cast
this.
was fucked up too. Yes.
maybe
So-
maybe maybe that was the character arc turning moment. You know, her saying like, "Nah, I'm not gonna pass this on."
But I'm sure there's many other theories out there where she did do it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after the old dick and balls naked guy on the roof, they're at the pool and they start setting up like a lot of electronics around the pool, like lamps, old TVs, hair dryers and stuff, plugging them in. And she gets into the pool and you kind of like, I guess, get the feeling that they're trying to set the thing up because they're saying like, oh, how long do you think it'll take? And she's like, oh, I'm assuming a couple hours.
Yeah, cool imagery here with the pool though. And I probably, you gotta wonder like what was intended, what wasn't. But the way the design in the pool is underneath, it looks like she's just floating in a pool of upside down crosses.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, the actual like black patterning in the paint looks
Uh-huh.
like an entire row of upside down crosses.
didn't
So I
realize
looked
that.
at it and I was like, I wonder if this is something that we decided was going to be in the film purposefully, or if it just ended in the shot that way.
Right.
But definitely spooky.
So yeah, you get the sense that they're going to try to kill this thing, and the director of the film said, like, I believe someone asked him about this scene, and he said it's a stupid idea because they're teenagers and it's supposed to make you feel
Yeah,
that way,
right.
That it's not going to be
Right.
not going to work, basically.
Just like the whole gun thing and everything else, like going far away, like obviously, like it's gonna keep coming. This is the part where I really have a problem with this movie. The one scene I really don't think I can stand.
What's that?
They show it raining outside, and that is the worst fucking CGI rain I've ever seen in my life.
Well, so I believe too. Someone else pointed out. I remember I read it online. That in the beginning of the movie, I think there's like a butterfly or an ant on her hand when she's in the pool, and and someone's like, "Yeah, I believe that's a CGI ant." Why did they do that?
Can't harm animals in the filming of this movie,
So I never noticed the rain either, but I remember someone talking about like
Yeah.
an ant or something, some type of
So
bug.
yeah,
on-
I know. I remember that part in the beginning when they first showed
And
her
that
in the
wasn't
pool,
that
but
bad.
I think that's to just show she's like an average kid.
No, but I'm saying they were saying what was the point of putting like a CGI ant on her?
What, as opposed to what, having a real bug on her?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they could
Maybe
also,
she's not down with that. She might be scared of bugs. You don't know.
she also lowers the ant into the water and lets it kind of drown for a little bit, then picks it back up. And I mean, there
Does
could
she?
be.
She picks it back up.
I don't know if she picked it back. I thought she picked it back up, but I mean, like that could just show you once again the power of predation, the idea of I am a more powerful being than you. Life or death is in my hand. Very soon, life or death will be out of her hands.
I didn't really think about it like that. I thought it was just like a childish thing.
Yeah,
I've killed a lot of ants and bugs in my day, you know.
you're a
but-
murderer.
Not me.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I hate that part with the rain.
I honestly never paid attention to that with the rain.
It just looks so off because all these like beautiful shots of like everything, and it just looks so natural and like real. And then just like, why even add the rain? They're in an inside fucking pool.
Maybe they had a couple, some money left over at the budget, so they said, let's try to do some CGI effects.
I don't know, but it looked terrible.
I honestly never paid attention to that.
Well, next time you watch it, it just looks off. Like I get it's supposed to be like ominous and like a dark. It's setting up the mood, the scene.
But against the
Yeah.
ultra realistic nature of so many other great panning
Right,
shots, it's
right.
like why?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Why couldn't they just get stock footage of rain from somewhere and just use that?
So then it comes and she's like freaking out. She says she wants to get out of the pool and they don't see it. Again, this is another scene where it's
So I'm
completely
assuming you're
invisible.
seeing it from Kelly or
Yeah,
Paul's
Yara
view.
or Paul. Yeah, and so it's invisible, so you don't see what's going on. Just Jay freaking out, and that kind of gets your heart racing.
Yeah, and then Kelly's like, "Who is it?" And
She says, "I don't want to say."
yeah, I can't tell you who it is.
Yeah, but then when they finally, well, it starts throwing. It's not getting into the pool with her.
No.
It starts throwing shit into the pool.
Yeah, all the stuff that all the electronics they had brought
Yeah.
to dump in the pool because they were going to electrocute it.
Yeah, it starts throwing in the pool, and they're saying like, "Oh my god, she's gonna get electrocuted," but like, I don't think they know how electric works.
It's got to be plugged in.
Well, it was plugged in.
Well, the one lamp, I think the first lamp definitely was not plugged in.
Well, he probably threw it and it
Yeah.
unplugged, but
Yeah, and it's
So
almost like Yara's like, oh, she's not getting electrocuted.
well,
like
at
a
first they
moment-
do show like a little bit of like a shock in the pool, but I honestly think those things aren't even high enough power, and there's too much water for it to actually do anything to anybody. So yeah, it was a stupid plan, but it starts throwing stuff in the water, and then it kind of it does. You see the shape of it, and I don't know if you noticed it then or later, but you see a portrait of the family at some point, and it's in the shape of their dad.
Yes.
Who-
So in the beginning of the movie, I believe the picture you see
On the mirror.
on the mirror is of the family, and they're younger, and he looks exactly the same
as they
as he does
back
then.
then. Yeah. And there's
So
another
I'm assuming he died when they were young
yeah.
or whatnot.
There's another picture that they show later on of
Yeah,
the family.
afterwards, yeah.
Yeah. And he was in the shape of the dad, who again presumably was dead.
So at this point, this doesn't make sense to me because Paul gets the gun and starts shooting. Like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? And then a couple seconds later, not even maybe a minute later, Kelly gets the blanket to throw on him. That should have been the first. Instead of having it in a bag, they should have had it ready to go.
What?
The blanket, where she had to run, open the backpack or the duffel bag, whatever it was.
But that might not have been why the blanket was there.
Yeah, before she even gets to the blanket,
That might have been just been like a fuck, like this
yeah.
might work.
Paul puts a bullet in Yara's
Yeah.
shin.
Yeah, Paul accidentally shoots Yara.
I mean, he drops his girl. He drops that girl, and she.
Yeah.
And I mean, that guy. I mean, I don't think I've ever been happy that a character didn't die because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't.
That
I
would've
like,
been
she's a nice
terrible.
girl. I like her. I don't know. Please don't
Is
kill
she
her.
nice or is she kind?
Wholesome.
No, we need an answer. Was she nice or is she kind?
She's a nice girl.
Okay.
But at this scene, when I first saw this movie, I was like, I hated it when I first saw it because never in the movie do you see it do something like this where it's smart enough to throw something at someone or avoid getting in the pool.
I guess, but maybe it has a thing with water.
Yeah,
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm
they've
saying.
never tried to just get in water to see if it'll fucking swim. You know?
But the more every time I saw it, I believe it got smarter. Like it gets smarter as it goes on, as it follows the one person,
I guess.
because it wants to get to you, and then it knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I think that goes like I said, it goes back to that original quote. It may be slow, but it's not dumb.
yeah.
You know, this thing. She says, Jay even says when they say, "What is it doing?" And she says, "It's just standing there,
Right.
looking at me." And I'm almost picturing in my head the Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees head tilt, like looking at
Right.
the electronics, like, oh,
I don't think it's even that smart to do that.
No, I don't know.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's deducing that you're trying to lure it.
Yeah.
So it's like
because
I'm not
obviously it
playing.
can see everyone standing around the pool.
Yeah, it's like
it
I'm-
sees everything set up. It's not stupid.
And I like how when Paul's trying to aim the gun at it and you pull it into focus, it's reaching its arm back towards Paul, trying to like swat him away.
Yeah.
Like looking for that second hit.
Yeah. So Kelly runs over and throws a sheet over it, and Paul shoots it in the head, and it falls into the pool. So then, it's in the pool with Jay now. So Jay starts trying to get out of the pool, and it grabs her foot and starts pulling her down. So obviously, like before when they shot it, they shot it in the head at the shed, right?
Yeah, and it was
So-
down for literally
so-
like 1 second.
Yeah, so-
and then it like went away.
So it does get hurt or stunned momentarily, but it doesn't get put down for good. Like it's
Yeah.
not stoppable. So it grabs her foot, and Paul's first great idea is to just start shooting into the water.
Yeah, that
Which is one of the
that was
worst ideas.
wild.
Yeah.
that was absolutely wild.
So after like 3 shots, he finally hits it, and it lets
Headshot
go.
too.
Was it?
Back of the head.
Oh, and then so like, dude, he's got good aim. I'm not gonna lie. So what is that? 2 headshots?
Well, aim assist.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, yeah, that's right. So then, Jay gets up and out of the water, and they're looking into the water and there's just like, I don't want to say pool of blood because it is a pool, but the blood in the pool starts spreading.
Yeah.
And envelops like almost the whole pool.
Yeah.
And
So it gives you the sense that it's dead.
I wouldn't say that, but like because you don't see the thing in the pool.
That's what I'm saying.
But you can see the blood from it.
Yes.
But my question is, does Paul, Yara, and Kelly see the blood, or is it just Jay?
We'll never know.
Yeah, I guess so. Because like for most of these shots, it's invisible.
Yeah.
Up until it's grabbing her. in the
Until you
pool.
see through Kelly's perspective, which I mean not Kelly. I'm sorry, Jay. Which I think this whole movie is through her. The only
For the
time you
most
see
part,
it is her perspective.
Yeah. So they cut to Paul and Jay and they're having sex. So she finally gives in and she's letting him, I guess, take the responsibility of it.
Yeah.
Then they show Jay's mom scratching like Jay's back, and you see a portrait of the family, and that's when you see that it was in the shape of her dad. Like at that point, they cut to Yara in the hospital with Paul and Jay. No, sorry. They cut to Paul, and he's driving up to like where a couple prostitutes are hanging out. So
Those are working ladies.
sex workers. Sorry, they're sex workers. I apologize to all sex
Professional
workers out there.
Professional
Escorts, sorry. Apologize to anyone having sex for money out there. And so presumably he came up with a good idea. He's going to have sex with one of the prostitutes, and that prostitute's going to get rid of it quick. And if the person that the prostitute gives it to gets killed,
Chances are there's going to be another dude.
yeah, there's going to be another dude, unless they take a day off then, or 2 days off then. On the weekend.
Then they're going to be taking a permanent
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah, they might get caught up to eventually. But I mean, in theory, that's a really good idea. Because you got to think, if this guy is having sex with one prostitute, he might even be having sex with other ones, and that shit might just like it's getting thrown down a line. And
But my thing is do you have to do it with a condom or no condom to pass the thing on? Or it just doesn't matter?
I don't know. That's a good question though too.
'Cause
I'm
I'm
not
ho-
gonna lie. That is a good question.
No, I'm serious.
No, I'm dead serious too. I don't know.
Well, depending on the theme of the creature,
Well, okay, so I get what you mean. So we're just gonna put it out there. I've heard that like it's supposed to signify, I don't know, STDs,
Yeah, an STD, yeah.
but that's not where the idea came from.
No, the director, I believe, refuted that claim.
Yeah.
That it wasn't an initial purpose, and it's kind
Yeah.
of just the way it's been construed.
Yeah, he came up with the idea for this because he used to have a recurring dream where somebody would follow him.
Yeah, and the whole purpose and a lot of what his descriptions involved were a nightmare sequence.
Right.
The idea that you can't solve a nightmare.
Correct. So anyway, Yara's in the hospital with Paul and Jay, and she's just reading her fucking clamshell, like Nook, whatever the fuck that is, like
Yeah.
Amazon Kindle.
But I can't remember because it does
Clam.
go with whatever she says, like goes with the movie.
Right. There's some ominous
I
quote.
couldn't remember.
Yeah, the quote was about not being able to escape death. You kind of have to embrace it,
And then
but
in the
it's
end, you become it, or the thing you're running from.
I honestly don't remember, but I know it goes with the movie. And even the first quote she reads too, from that book, The Idiot, or I believe she said it was. I
Damn.
think it goes with the movie too.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's got the good quotes.
Yeah, she looks like she's well read.
Why? Because she has glasses.
Yes. So then Jay and Paul are walking down the street holding hands, and in the background you see someone like walking behind them on the same sidewalk.
Yeah. So
And then it ends.
Yeah.
Cuts to credits.
So, again, does that go to? Did he back out of having sex with the hooker, and that's why the thing's following them, or is it not even the thing?
that's the thing. That's why throughout this movie there's so many times where there's somebody walking in the background and you don't know. And
Yeah.
I like that it's
Yeah,
that
so-
ending where you don't know.
Yeah, it's your. Well, you make up your own decision what you want it to be.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be that way.
So since that's the whole movie,
Do you want to go through some theories over there?
I don't know if
Big
you
guy?
Um,
Or do you want to talk about?
well, really, the only I had a couple theories, but the one that sticks out to me that I read online and even was putting together myself is, I feel like the thing or the it, whatever you call it, only takes shape of people it had sex with, or I mean, not had sex with, but who had the disease.
But that's not true.
How is that not true? What's the theory? Just-
Jay's
Yara.
dad.
So this is the thing. This is what I think. Because Greg sees his mom with it.
Right.
So this is what I think. Maybe when they were younger, like I don't know where it started or who it came from, but maybe their dad had sex with Greg's mom, and that's why it could be the dad.
What about the grandfather?
But I'm saying it could have been anything. That's what I'm saying. It could have came from anywhere. It could have been around for that long.
And like he said, Yara.
Maybe Yara had it because she's the only one that asked when they're sitting down when she says, "Wait, you really haven't seen anything yet?" Like she was the only one concerned about it, really, like that.
What about the old ass grandma walking in the fucking courtyard?
No, what I'm saying,
the
then
college.
you never know with like the boy. He could have
the young kid.
He could have been sexually assaulted. You know, it could have been going on forever and ever and ever.
I don't know. I think that's a stretch.
No, I don't know. I think it's a good theory, like because it's always someone like it's Greg, it's Yara, then it's Greg again.
But
that could have been Annie in that picture.
But Jeff/Hugh always says like it just takes the shape of anyone to get close to you.
Yeah, so
doesn't
maybe he thinks that, but doesn't know that. You know, it could be anything. I don't know. I think
maybe I don't know. I don't think so though. I think that's a stretch.
I don't know.
What are some other ones?
Well, I'm saying that was my main one that I liked. That I kind of put together was that.
Well, if that's the best one we got.
No, I'm serious. Like to me, I like that. Like I think that's a good one.
Yeah. But you said you had other ones, or there were other ones. that
Well, there
you
are
had,
other ones,
right?
but that was really the only one I really like stuck
Oh.
out to me. I would say.
So the other ones were straight dog shit.
No, there's not at all. But I love reading like on Reddit the like fan theory ones and on YouTube people putting videos together of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right, so then since you're already talking about it, there was 2 deaths in the movie.
well, 3 if you count the thing at the end. You don't know
What thing at the end?
when it gets shot in the head and the
I
pool
don't think it died.
Yeah, so
Well, I don't. If it was dead, I don't think so. But so, which one was your favorite, and which one was your least favorite, and what do you rate the movie?
So, the first time I heard about this movie, I'll just go into my whole like ending spiel.
Yes.
The first time I heard about this movie and I saw the trailer, I was like so hyped for it. I was like, I can't wait to see this. It looks cool. And then it came out, and people, I don't think it was in the theaters near me. And then a couple people I knew saw it and said, this movie's kind of long, boring, and doesn't really do anything. You know, I heard a couple people say that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of like disappointed. I read stuff online that said this movie misses the mark. It's a good concept, but it doesn't do well. It could have done better.
Mm-hmm.
So then I forgot about the movie, and months went by, and I remember it finally like came online, so I downloaded it and I watched it, and instantly like I fell in love with this movie. Instantly, like the whole vibe, the mood of the movie, the timelessness, like everything I loved about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it honestly is probably my favorite movie in the last I want to say 15 years.
Wow.
That came out. It's so good. Every time I watch it, I learn something new. I see something different, and I like it even more and more and more every time I watch it. I can't say the same for if everyone's gonna feel that way, but personally, me, I love this movie. Mm-hmm. I can't pick a favorite or least favorite kill because there's only 2, and one of them you don't see.
Right.
So, I rate this movie a 10 out of 10.
Right on.
How do you feel about this movie, Rob?
I have a lot of my own theories back in the film that kind of play out into why I'm going to rate it the way I'm going to rate it. First and foremost, we talked about the clash between old-fashioned and modern ideals. Mm-hmm. Sexuality is a massive theme in this film, and I personally think that there are so many symbols and illusions that lead us to compare and contrast modern ideals and modern thoughts about sexuality with old-fashioned ideals. The technology, the clothing, the attitudes, the dialogue, and I'm going to echo Mark's sentiments here when I say that there's this timelessness of this film is fantastic in the way it plays out into helping these theories develop. I personally think one of my theories that I coincides with some things I've read on the internet about the dangers of sexuality, but also the anxiety of life and death, the inevitability of death. From the moment that we're born, it is stalking us. It is something we cannot escape. It is something that we have to eventually come to terms with and accept will get us. And so in this situation, to me, it symbolizes on a very micro scale humanity's struggle with its own mortality. And I think that large, grandiose idea, that anxiety we all feel, that unites all of us in one way or another, that we are going to be chased down by this eventuality, is what allows almost anyone who watches this film to be able to feel that anxiety and to connect with the film. I think that the cinematography is beautiful. There are some effect issues, certainly, but they are small and inconsequential to me against the greater backdrop of what this film does. I think it's refreshing. I think it's something that is a must-see, even if you're not a fan of horror, even if you're not a fan of suspense films, on the merits of a good, strong, original indie film, something that in a world of remakes we are lacking. I give credit to the director, to the entire team, to the cast behind this, and I am going to give this film a 9 out of 10. I draw back because there are, to me, some issues occasionally with some dialogue and some issues with the effects, some questionable decisions there, but an excellent film nonetheless, and I can truly see why Mark loves it and holds it on such a high pedestal.
Well, something I definitely forgot to add to also is when this movie, it gives you enough to keep you interested, but it doesn't give too much, so you have to interpret what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, when I finished watching this movie, when I first saw it back in 2015, immediately I went to Google, typed in It Follows 2, It Follows sequel. I want to see a sequel. Now that I've seen it so many times, I think it does better as a standalone film.
Yes.
And I feel like a sequel would ruin it. I would hate to say I definitely would watch it, but I feel like it wouldn't do it justice. Like, there's no need for it.
You worry about too much of a good thing.
Yes. I feel like then it would just be, it'd oversaturate the whole thing, and there's no need for it. Because this movie gives you enough, but it doesn't give you enough.
Well, I think that's how a lot of things start out, and then they get oversaturated. So.
No, but I'm saying this is like a perfect example of something like that.
Yeah, and I think now's a good time to hear from the host with the most. Your thoughts on this?
So, I love this movie too, honestly. So, thinking back, I don't know if I can go 15 years back, because I would really have to think about what horror movies have come out in the last 15 years.
Honestly, I can't really think of anything, and since I was like a teenager that I really liked, that like wasn't like I guess because there's remakes like Texas Chainsaw Massacre I liked, like
Yeah.
all this stuff, but I'm talking about like a movie that's different, that's not a
Right.
yeah. Prequel, remake,
Right.
sequel, where it's on its own
idea, right?
Some original work.
Yeah,
So
that's all I say.
right, so I can go at least 5 years back, definitely solid 5 years, to make it a like easy number. This is the best movie that I've seen, horror movie at least, in the last 5 years. I would even say it's better than the new Halloween 2018. I think it, like you said, it doesn't give you too much, and I like that. It keeps you guessing. You don't know what it is. You don't know why. You don't know how. I like those things. That mystery to it, I feel like that helps with the suspense, the anxiety. I like how every time somebody in the film is panicking, I mean, I've mentioned it a couple times, but I like how you feel that with them. It's not comfortable to watch. This isn't like a campy horror film. It is terrifying. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I don't give it a perfect 10 out of 10. I think that there are movies that are better. I just don't think this is a perfect movie, but it's way up there. And my favorite kill, my favorite death is definitely Annie in the beginning. I love that broken leg, and fuck Greg, so that's my least favorite. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that one. I didn't give mine, but I'm gonna say Annie is mine because
that broken leg is sick as fuck.
I was like, Greg turned into a Smurf didn't count for me.
Yeah, but I mean, I love the movie. I love the cinematography. I love the way things are shot. Like I said before, I love how it looks like a real town, real house. Things look really used. You can tell it's not made by a big studio. I'm what? Oh, you look like you had something to say. So I'm just glad that this indie film did this. But the thing is, to me, I honestly think that this is a modern day classic, but not enough people have eyes on it, and I think that's a shame.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people gave it a chance.
No. And I don't think a lot of people have heard about it. People in the horror community definitely know about it. But if you walked up to any random person on the street and said, like, hey, have you ever seen It Follows? They'll probably say no. And that, to me, that's a shame. Because I think that, like you said, Rob, I think even if you're not a horror fan, you should still watch this movie. It's that good.
Oh, yeah. When I was my first time seeing this film was when I was in college. A group of my classmates and I would get together one day a week and we would watch classic films. Usually we watched monster movies. Just kind of exposing each other. And my buddy said, I've got this great film called It Follows. And I said, what was that? I've never heard of that before. And he said, you've got to see this, man. I said, well, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I said, what kind of movie is it? And he said, don't worry about it. Just watch it. And I'll tell you, I sat in that and watched that first time. And the first thing I said to myself was, I've got to tell somebody about this. And like you said, in your research, it's amazing how many people outside the horror community have not been exposed to this, and I think that's a grave injustice to this film,
Right.
And to the potential of all independent films of a nature like this. I think this film begs to be seen.
I think independent films are definitely picking up nowadays, but it doesn't get its just due, and that's, I don't know, that's pretty much all.
Personally, for me, I'm definitely a person that loves slasher movies and movies with high kill counts, and and this doesn't have that.
Right. I prefer you
and that's my favorite horror genre, slasher. So
I prefer slashers too, but this it's its own thing, and I love it.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't even know what to consider it. A thriller.
It's like a
mystery,
suspense horror,
psychological, supernatural,
psychological horror. Certainly.
Yeah.
And also like the onset cinema, they're doing the viewing at the college, I believe, in September, and I really want to go to like Detroit to watch it there.
That'd be cool.
I really want to this is one of, honestly, I can say it's probably one of my top 5 favorite horror movies of all time.
Yeah. Maybe we can do that.
I would love to do that. Honestly, I'm thinking about doing it.
Which brings us into the next part. So, me and Mark are going to be at Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, March 9th. If anybody sees us walking around or anything like that, you could always stop and say hey. And we're also doing the on-set cinema for Scream 2. Hopefully we haven't booked the plane, but we got Airbnb.
We got the tickets to it, but no plane yet.
Yeah, no plane yet. So I don't know if anybody will actually be listening to it by then, this stuff. But, you can always come out and say hey. And hopefully we do make it to on-site cinema, because that...
For Scream 2 or for...
Both.
Obviously, definitely for Scream 2. We have
Scream
Airbnb.
2, yes, but
if I refund the Airbnb, I lose $35.
Yeah, for It Follows would be fucking killer too. That would be awesome.
Yeah, when I saw him put it up, I was like, I would love to do that. And then now that I watched the movie again, I'm like, I need to do that. I want to, and I believe they're showing the movie at the theater too, the Redford Theater on the Saturday night. Which I would want. Honestly, I would do both.
I would probably rather see that.
I would want to do both, Friday and Saturday.
The thing is, like, I don't know if this movie's a good movie to watch with a big crowd of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I love this movie, and I would see it 1,000 times, and I'd be fine. What are we watching next, Rob?
All right, guys. So we're going to take it back a little bit, 1980s, and we are going to be doing Clive Barker's Hellraiser, the original film.
Boo!
Obviously not a popular one with Mark. We don't even have to do that review. Mark's already given it his score. He's ready to go.
I'll watch it, don't worry.
But certainly a hallmark of the horror community and a film that deserves to be looked at. And I hope you guys are excited about it just like I am. And I hope you guys decide to listen in.
All right, guys, that's everything. So if you want to reach out to us, you can always email us at vintagehorrorpod@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can follow us at Vintage Horror Podcast. We are on Twitter at Vintage Horror _. We will be working on that.
Still trying to work on that.
Still working on that. If you want to follow me personally on Instagram, you can follow me at Kyle Bunnies. Like, the rabbit, the animal, Kyle, KYLE, BUNNIES. And you can follow me on Twitter at Kyle Burge. That's my real name. So at KYLEBURDGE. If you want to follow Mark on Instagram or Twitter, you can follow him at Mark Rubino. That's MarkRubino, Mark Rubino. And you can follow Rob. He just made a Twitter at Jedi_Master_Rob. Thanks, everybody.